That's life, that's what people say. You can be flying high in April, shot down in May. I ain't gonna let it get me down, as long as this big old world keeps us spinning round. Don't you know that's life? Hey baby, yeah, that's what people say. They'd be flying high in April, shot down in May. I ain't gonna let it get me down, as long as this big old world keeps us spinning round. I've been a puppet, a pirate, a pauper, a poet, a pawn and a king. I've been up and down and over and around. I learned one thing each time I find myself falling flat on my face. I just pick myself up and get back in the race. That's life. Hey baby, funny how it may seem, I've seen people get their kicks stomping on a dream. I ain't gonna let it get me down. Funny how it may seem, as long as this big old world keeps us spinning round. Hey, don't you know that's life, baby? As long old world keeps spinning round. Yeah, baby, I ain't gonna let it get me down. Been a puppet, a pirate, a pauper, a poet, a pawn, and a king.
73 degrees Fahrenheit with cloudy skies. Tonight's forecast has just a few clouds in the sky, with a low of 52 degrees.
We're just shh. How about it, Tom? How about it, Tom? For old time's sake?
One more time around.
Tell Michael it was only business. I always liked him.
Nothing personal, eh? Just business. That was Abe Vigoda, right?
Abe Vigoda! Welcome to Coffee with Curmudgeons!
Right.
I'm Abe Vigoda. I'm Sal Tessio.
That's right.
Oh, wow. That was a... how did I munch that up? I know, because I'm back. But...
Well, it's all good.
And this is Tom Hayden.
Hi. I'm a consigliere for the Corleone family. I'll take care of your every want and desire, and if you really peck them off, I'll be the one to help bury you, too. Yeah. Okay, so the power word for today, folks, is consigliere. If you can call us right now at 503-395-5040 and give us the word, you will win absolutely nothing.
All right.
But you can talk to us.
We could, get people to win stuff. All right, your camera's fixed.
Hey, all right. No,
And we're back.
No, it didn't help all this, but we're gonna roll with it.
Yeah, we're back. We are back. Okay. Sorry, that was actually I planned that, but I didn't plan. Why did I stop? I hit this button and I stopped the thing.
It was finally a finally arranged thing. We came hot on people's laps. We just right there, right in front of you.
I just hit, for some reason I hit the space bar over here and I just stopped the intro. And so that was dumb. So we're
it's a Friday.
Yeah, I know. It's been a crazy 2 weeks. That's why. So and my body isn't sore anymore. Let's put it that way.
Is it beyond sore?
No, it's fine now.
Is it numb?
Yeah, it's fine. But I laid in bed once.
Oh,
like this week, just
that's good.
Thinking, wow, I'm really sore. And it's just, it's not nothing. I don't have a medical problem or anything. What it was is I was moving heavy equipment around for the last 2 weeks at various locations.
Yeah.
That would be production equipment.
Yeah.
That would be like stuff that's in here that weighs like 50 pounds a case.
And more.
And I said to myself, I'm not 29 anymore.
What?
I'm not 29 anymore. I actually had a Jack Benny in the shower.
See, that's what I was going to say.
But I can't do it.
We could just stick with 39 forever.
Yeah.
I'm 39
years old.
Yeah.
Of course. What was that? What was his dude's name?
Oh,
was it Jeeves or something?
No, Rochester.
Rochester. I'm not 39 anymore. I don't know. I have no idea.
You had that really gravelly voice. Rochester did, hey, Jack.
That was a weird show.
Mr. Benny. Oh, that's a great show.
When they moved it to early days of television, you watched the Jack Benny program.
Right.
Starring Jack Benny. It'd be like, all right. Yeah.
Right. It's funny because no one really knew what they were doing at that time on early TV like that. And so
But it was just,
It was very stiff, right? Because in this radio show, he's fluid. The timing is just bam, 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 bam. And in live TV...
It's not bad.
No, it's not bad, but they had to stop while the people clapped, They're clapping up. And so you can tell them they want to say they're lying there.
Yeah, it was weird. It was definitely vaudeville on television. Yeah. And it wasn't bad. I mean, it's watchable. All those programs are. They're very interesting. Yeah. But like when you watch Jack Benny and then you watch I Love Lucy, you realize how good the whole Lucy Desi Arnaz thing really was.
Right.
Like how like brilliant, like top notch. Yeah. That was.
Yeah, Jack was.
Jack was a Rochester
radio guy, right? Yeah.
The Jack Benny program.
Right.
With Jack Benny.
That's right. And he'd come on his radio shows, The Great, because he would come on and say, "Hello, everybody. This is Jack Benny talking."
No, he would do. Let's see, the TV program. Mm-hmm. He'd do like a monologue at the beginning, right? The other day. The other day, I was buying some milk, and here's what happened. And then they'd go to the set, and Rochester would... Is it Rochester? No,
Rochester.
Wait. Was he white?
No.
No.
He was an African-American gentleman.
No. I think for the TV program, we did not have... I think we had a white guy.
I saw one where he opened up the door, and Mary Livingston walked in, and he was talking to her. Where's Jack?
All right. I don't know. I have no idea. I just remember some big white guy.
Oh, that's Don Wilson. He's the
Don Wilson.
He's the guy that does the intro. The Jack
Benny program.
Right, that's Don Wilson.
Starring Jack Benny. I'm Don Wilson.
Right, Don Wilson. Let's see. His band leader was Phil Harris. His singer was Dennis Day.
Not a good look.
Nah.
I mean, back I have the Black Butler.
Right, yeah.
I don't know.
It's hard.
But then you have Robert Guillaume, right?
Robert Guillaume.
Who like Benson.
Yeah.
In the 70s.
Right.
That was he passed away recently, right?
Last year, yeah.
Yeah. He
Very recently, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Robert
Then you
Young.
have Norman Lear.
Yeah.
Black comedy. But this was white. I don't know. Boy, let's step in it.
Right.
Welcome to
Coffee and
the Jack
Curmudgeons.
Benny program.
Right. No.
Let's not talk about institutionalized
Racism.
Oh.
Yeah. I remember, though, hearing...
What am I doing?
I don't know. But I remember hearing an interview one time of the guy who plays Rochester's name is Eddie Anderson.
Eddie Anderson.
And they were this was far after the show's been over. It's like in the 70s. Everyone's older gentleman now.
I
asked him, geez.
Benny died in the 70s, early 80s, something like that.
I think he passed away in like 76 or 77.
Yeah, it was pretty...
And they asked Eddie Anderson, well, geez, I mean, they said a lot of like really kind of off-color, racist kind of jokes, and his response was, in a town where you could never even get a job. I mean, I thought, I understood where he's coming from, but you're right. You listen back to those now, and you just wince. You're like, ooh, there was a few overt, really overt, out there racial comments. I'm like, oh, come on, Jack.
Eddie, the Wikipedia is literally Eddie Rochester Anderson.
Eddie Rochester Anderson.
He died in 1977.
Yes.
Yeah. When did you just... Jack Benny program.
Yeah, I'm a huge Jack Benny fan, especially of his early radio days. And
he just kind of had this weird person. He died in 74, Jack Benny. I remember 74. He was one of those... Oh, he was 80, though. So he was old.
Yeah.
That was weird.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, he was, the funny thing about him was he was actually in the Navy during World War I.
They were all, those guys, all those comedians, they were all in the war or in the thing.
Yeah.
I think well, even Jimmy Stewart, all these people, he was like in the Air Corps or something, I want to say. Mm-hmm. I mean, like all these people, they have all these war stories, right? And then some of them, I think if you were, one of our former great, air quotes, presidents, you were in the War Department making war movies.
Right.
And then making more movies. And then becoming the governor of California. Right. And then becoming president of the United States.
If you don't know who we're talking about, just Googling bedtime for Bonzo.
Yeah. So a lot of those guys... They went off to war, and then they came back, and it was like, let's be funny now, The one, the best, there's probably good ones, and they would take like Jimmy Stewart, Ed McMahon, all of those people. Yeah. Which you'd think they were artists, you'd think they'd be like deserters or like off to Canada or somewhere, I'm back,
Right.
But I guess it's, the Great War. The Greatest Generation,
Happily
World War II. You didn't run off. You went, I'm going to Italy.
Right.
I'm going to kill some fascists. I'm
off to kill fascists.
Kill the Nazis, Yeah. But the best actor war story that I've ever read about was... I know, right?
Yeah, I'm ready for the ding.
Well, it's okay. He's a famous horror guy.
Okay.
England. So there's three that you think of, great horror guys.
Okay.
And they were all friends.
Okay.
There's a great picture of them together when they party and drink.
Yeah.
The one we know really well is Vincent Price.
Vincent Price, of course.
Then the one that we know real well, who they brought back to life in new Star Wars movies. Peter Cushing.
Yes.
The Van Helsing and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And the third is...
Okay.
Can you think of it?
Well, I know. See, when I think of them, I think of like...
And two of them have been in Star Wars movies.
I think of like Boris Karloff.
No. That's more Hollywood. We're kind of the more English.
So we got Peter... No, I can't...
Vampires and was also in Star Wars, in some Star Wars movies like Peter Cushing was. Oh. How about Christopher Lee? Yeah, Christopher Lee.
Right. Gotcha.
And so I read this thing about Christopher Lee, right? Because he passed away 2 years ago now. He was one of those who passed away. I mean, he was old, but he was like doing YouTube videos and stuff.
And also what Lord of the Rings, right?
Lord of the Rings. I could no, Sauron, he's Gandalf. No, he's not Gandalf. Ian McKellen's Gandalf. Saruman, thank you. Yeah, he's Saruman. He's not Gandalf. Ian McKellen is Gandalf.
Ian McKellen.
You're right. He was Saruman. So he was doing YouTube videos up until he died and stuff like that. I mean, he was like, people loved him, fan favorite.
Yeah, heavy metal album too, right?
Everything.
Yeah.
He did Star Wars. He did Lord of the Rings. He did these vampire movies with Peter Cushing. I don't know if this might be trivia that the three of them, Price, Cushing, and Christopher Lee. I wonder if they. Maybe, the people who are out there, fans, are probably like, no, they did a movie, whatever. But I remember reading his biography. I was very interested. And he did, I should pull it up.
Okay.
He was a commando in World War II. And he's a big guy. He was tall. Like, if you think of him, like, on the screen, he was, like, over 6 feet tall. He was, like, tall.
A commanding presence.
A substantial, athletic, tall guy. Yeah. And when you see him... I tell you, those vampire movies, especially in the 60s, and they get a little saucy.
They do.
They get real saucy. Like, we're talking like not G-rated saucy. Like, because, if you're going to do vampire stuff and evil stuff, people's got to get naked.
Right.
I was like, hey, I got one of these things in the bargain bin with once with Christopher Lee. And Peter Cushing, and it's like modern. It's like the modern vampire stuff, right?
Yeah.
And I think Cushing's Van Halen. He's like investigating the vampire, and there's this cult, right? Satanic cult, and I'm like, oh, this is good. This will be a little scary for Halloween. Maybe share it with the kid. We'll getting up there to start watching the scary movies and stuff.
Yeah.
First 5 minutes, naked birds laid out for the satanic thing. I'm like, oh, I guess not. Which is silly because would this be Europe?
Yeah.
It wouldn't have mattered.
No. Was that, though, is that the old, Hammer Studios?
Yes, Hammer.
Yeah.
Hammer.
I love those, man.
Yeah, I was like, oh, this is going to be cool, some good old horror. And all of a sudden, there's all these naked girls running around, satanic blood. Not that I had a problem with that at all, but...
Right. But...
It's like when the first time you watch Alfred Hitchcock's Frenzy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Alfred Hitchcock. I mean, okay, you're like Psycho. She's in the bath. Yeah. You see a thing?
Kinda, yeah.
She's naked.
Yeah.
I don't know. Body
but you're expecting,
what's going on?
Yeah.
But then you see Frenzy and it's like, whoa!
Alfred,
Hitch, I just saw some...
Alfred got a little saucy that movie. He decided to ramp it up.
Yeah. Well, it was the 60s, man.
Yeah.
It was the 60s, man.
Well,
let's go watch a Hammer Studios or Frenzy and listen to some Yardbirds, all right?
Are you here?
Let's go check out some birds and then listen to some Yardbirds.
I'm wearing my turtleneck. Are you wearing your turtleneck? Let's go watch a movie.
It's the Jack Benny program, starring Jack Benny.
That's right.
Anyway.
Written by No, how would you like to be, though? How would you like to be a German...
Tom.
Yeah.
For old time's sake. Can you help me out here?
Right. Can you just tell him it wasn't business?
Tell Michael.
It was just business, yeah.
It's just business.
Nothing personal.
I always liked him. Anyway, that's all we're going to do is just quote stuff all day.
Right. Well, how would you like to be, though? You're in let's say
topless in a Hammer
France.
movie.
Yeah, well, that too.
In a satanic scene.
No, but you're
I don't think either you or I would be cast.
No,
but that would be good for our Curmudgeons Hammer-esque Halloween film. It's there's Jay out there, it's just
it's holy cow, that's a Spammer Studios. That's not Hammer, and there I am with my can sticking out.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my gosh, he's got a
put a manzir on that.
He's got a
bro.
He's got a bigger set than the lady actress does. The funny thing is, they wanted to put me in pasties.
Yeah,
because they just couldn't handle the full on
Pasties.
Yeah. So I
It would be.
like
it would be.
60s
It would be
go-go
pie
dancer.
pans.
Manhole covers. I can't help it.
Hubcaps.
Well,
No,
I'll do what it takes. You know. I'll you know.
suddenly we. It just doesn't matter.
There's no
You
I in
guys.
hubcaps.
It doesn't matter. We made peace with North Korea. It just doesn't matter anymore.
Right. Yeah, it doesn't. Nothing matters. Anyway.
It is the apocalypse.
And then some.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very talented man. A very, very talented man.
The
Here.
Apocalypse starring Jack Benny.
Yeah.
No, anyway. How'd you like
It's the North Korea program. Starring Kim Jong-un.
And Eddie Rochester Anderson.
No, man, I don't know. I don't think that's the...
No?
Yeah, no, that's not the look that
No.
we
Okay, let's...
that we like there. I mean,
yeah.
I was reading something.
Okay.
Oh, this actually did come up in the news about Einstein. Did you read that thing
No.
about Einstein?
No, huh?
Okay, so this is kind of dovetails into kind of what we're talking about, although I think it's a little more dicey. Yeah, I mean, with television and entertainment, I mean, you don't even get
Dicey?
into the Jackie Gleason stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Holy
yeah.
smokes, the honeymooners. Even that to me is just like, it's like, nah, you know, we can leave that. You know, God rest Jackie Gleason, but we can leave that alone. The
Yeah,
honeymooners, I think.
I'm really glad that he went on to do Buford T. Justice.
Oh yeah.
Cause
Oh yeah. I mean,
right,
he was a talented guy. It's just the honeymooners was. You talk about really historically, you know, like maybe we don't need to go back to the and people love the honeymooners, but it's like you can't, you know.
Yeah, the stuff between Cramden and Art Carney is pretty decent.
Yeah, but
when he has
their
the
home
interplay
lives with their wives.
Yeah, that the whole "bam off to the moon" thing.
And no, that was like in the vernacular.
Yeah.
Was it "To the Moon, Alice"? Or
Yeah.
I mean, okay.
He's always shaking his fist too, and
for me, that crosses the line.
I think so. Yeah.
You know, that's like, yep, no, that, you know, that's.
Yeah, today's standards just.
Yeah.
I don't know. No, I'm not exactly the media.
Today we'll have Rise of the Third Reich and a Honeymooner's short.
That's right.
It's like,
see if you can spot
I think we're
the
okay
difference.
with that. We don't have to watch that.
Yeah.
But Einstein.
Okay.
So I'm going to bring. We'll just bring up controversial and crappy things.
Can you do it in the Don Wilson voice?
Don Wilson voice.
Yeah, the Einstein.
Tonight, the Einstein Diaries, written by Albert Einstein. I don't know, yeah, so Einstein. Well, we would have it. He gave speeches about humanism. I mean, the whole you know, the nuclear code and all that stuff. And when he saw, he was pretty. He and Oppenheimer kind of were at odds with each other, weren't they?
Yeah,
Oppenheimer kind of defending the bomb, and
Kinda.
Einstein kind of not, if I recall.
Yeah, I think when they got beyond the equation level and it started to become practical, like, oh my gosh, this is actually...
E equals MC, boom! Oh, look, what has happened now? You know, yeah, I mean, once we were making mushroom clouds and stuff, I think Einstein was really like, you know, and he was like, look, this is a power that only very reasoned, smart people should have and use to, like, maybe unleash unlimited energy to help humanity or something like that. He was, like, definitely not down with the nuclear holocaust.
Yeah, he was a part
Obviously.
of the we're not ready.
Well, he gave speeches about... He was humanist and kind of in his public life. Well, they just published his diaries.
Okay.
From the 1920s.
Yeah.
And he traveled and he wrote about his travels. These are like personal diaries about his travels. So when he gets to the Orient, so to speak, Asia, he writes about his experience and meeting, you know, the Chinese and that sort of thing.
Sure.
And he kind of writes disparagingly about that.
Yeah.
I don't want to quote it, but it's not exactly, you know.
Yeah.
It's I mean, people are calling it very racist, Yeah. And so now people are like freaking out because Einstein, oh, look, he's a racist or whatever. And the author who published the diary said, even though these were wide-held beliefs at the time, remember, we're talking early 20th century.
Yeah.
Like close to the 19th century. Not, I mean, at a time when eugenics, and so I'm not saying this is right in context of now, but eugenics, social Darwinism. I read, I don't know, I read a whole book on social Darwinism in college for a history course. Yeah. It was literally called Social Darwinism. I was like, oh, look at that. Yeah. And so a lot of that stuff happened with, the white European people versus the rest of the world. Yeah. But this guy, his quote, the guy who did the memoirs or whatever, he said, even though these were widespread held belief, it was not, whatever. And I totally disagreed with him because I think that, so I mean, I don't think this necessarily, yes, he had these feelings in 1920. He perhaps changed those feelings later in his later public speeches and writings. He did not certainly talk about this. Again, I think that if this were Einstein 2018, this would be like, oh, this is not good. Yeah, Einstein 1920, anybody 1920. Yeah, you're like, I mean. Bigotry, and this isn't right, but bigotry was kind of inherent culturally in the old days, is what I'm trying to say. Oh, sure. I mean, it was only like 1960s civil rights movement and stuff. I mean, there were people, we talk about Lincoln all the time, but Lincoln wasn't as Lincoln would be a fish out of water in the 1960s civil rights movement. Sure. In his personal beliefs. Sure. That doesn't mean he thought that people should be slaves, but it also doesn't mean, I don't think Lincoln thought that, I don't know. Right. It's really dicey. And people people who haven't studied history a lot go back and try to retcon it and go, well, this clearly now Einstein is a terrorist. It's like, these are some personal writings when he was younger. And then a few people were like, well, he did, there was an Indian physicist that was trying to get his paper published. Who helped him get that through and supported him? Right. Albert Einstein. I mean, it's that sort of thing. Yeah, it is. I mean, when you try to flesh it out using 21st century goggles, you run into inconsistencies all the way down the line. And I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. But it's historical context. It's historical context. And I think when you really delve into it, I think it falls into a lot of the word, I guess, is contact. Yeah. All right. A lot of people didn't mix well internationally in the 20s, right? I mean, you had to take a boat over to somewhere. And chances are, if you lived in Dubuque, Iowa, you only saw people of color or Asian, fill in the blank, either on movie reels or read about them in books. The thing with, if you went to Einstein, we could get into a magic portal and bling, go back to 1920s Einstein and say, Albert, you're a racist, dude. What's going on? He would probably look back at us and say, I don't know. I think my people are probably at this time one of the most persecuted races on the planet. And so, of course, Albert is Jewish, and you would sit there during that time, 1920s, you would stop and he's right. He got the heck out of Germany. I mean, at the time, there's a. But it's hard when you look through context. I mean, yes, there are a lot of inconveniences because there's a lot of stuff in people's personal diaries and or beliefs at the time that through on 20th century you would say that's racist, and correctly so. Chicago Tribune yesterday. The headline was Albert Einstein decried racism in America. His diaries reveal a xenophobic, misogynistic side. And again, this is taken from 1920s travel travel log. I just, for me, this stuff is like, I don't know. It's to me, it's less relevant.
Yeah.
Then, I mean, boy, if you just like take 2018 and find people today.
Yeah.
Bigotry and all that. That's relevant, right?
Sure.
That's relevant.
Yeah.
I mean, and everyone, look into, everyone has kind of things in the closet. And again, I don't think Einstein was. I mean, again, I think this is something that maybe evolved over time based on his later what he did and his writings. I mean, how old was he in the 20s? He was like in his maybe 30s.
20s?
I mean, we can look it up, but.
Was he in his 50s? He was in his late 60s.
No.
20s. He was
a professor at Princeton when he was like in.
Yeah. So I think at that time he was maybe.
And here's another thing about Einstein.
Yeah.
About his past.
Mm-hmm.
He was a philanderer.
He was.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, but look into,
Yeah, that is very true. I mean.
So, I mean, I'm not sure. It's interesting to pull this out, I guess, for historical context. But on the other hand, people on Twitter, like, it's always like, ooh, there's another injustice, Albert Einstein, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Boy, especially when you go in the past. There was in the past.
Yeah.
In the 19th century, previous up to the 19th century, into the 20th century.
Yeah.
Right. I would say almost until you don't truly get to civil rights movement, like in the 60s.
Yeah.
When the 60s really, you start to talk about those things in popular media, popular people, like the I don't know, like the Beatles, like the George Harrisons of the world and stuff. We're like,
right.
trying to bring people together.
Yeah.
I really don't think you see it en masse until like about the 60s.
Right. I may be totally off base here, but to me, I don't think it really hit mainstream consciousness until Martin Luther King and the Freedom Riders.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and I even just think of like the Beatles. 50s? Like, just think about like the Beatles, the most popular, biggest band at that time, right?
Yeah.
The Beatles.
Yeah.
And then they go to India and they hang out with the
they're yogis and
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's kind of like this enlightened, and it wasn't like in previous times when people went to do this. It was more like, I'm with the Commonwealth here. I'm seeing the Commonwealth people.
Yeah.
But that was more like a one-on-one.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that doesn't happen until really the 60s. You can argue Eleanor Roosevelt maybe a little bit previous to that. But these are like outliers, and I'm not saying it's right. It's just a progression of history. Yeah. If you look back into history, it's all bigotry, racism, my tribe versus your tribe. Yeah. And if you think of 19th century Europe that bleeds over into the 20th century, it's not until the mid-20th century, World War II, that finally puts the smack down.
Stake in the heart of...
on colonial Europe, on the mastery of Europe across the entire world.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
And the new global reality. Mm-hmm. Europeans thought they were top dogs in the world. They were the social Darwinists. You were like Germans... And then it was even worse. It was like, well, Germans are definitely the best Europeans, right?
Yeah.
And we should dominate the world, and that happened twice, 2 world wars.
Oops.
Oops. Maybe your stuff isn't so good there, Kaiser,
okay,
Wilhelm.
Yeah.
I mean, so that's what was happening.
Yeah.
Among educated people. And again, you're like, we're going to go dig this out and say, look, society was racist. I mean, and bigoted.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it still is.
Yeah.
And there's your problem. There's where you put your sights on,
Right.
You ain't going to change Albert Einstein's personal travel diaries.
No.
I just don't, I don't know. I just felt, it's stuff like that comes up where they put it in his store. And I'm like, with history, you have to put context around it.
Yes.
You can't just take, look at what this diary says. Now it's 2018. Let's put that up to what,
Yeah.
You can't do that.
No, I mean, on one level...
Tell me you can do that. You can't do that,
no,
right?
I mean,
historically?
Not really. You can do
then
it.
You don't understand history.
Right. You can do it, and you can use it to bounce it off of how you feel nowadays and how much time has changed as a contrast sort of thing. You can do that, and it's fine, and it's perfectly fine and acceptable to do that, because then you can start saying, well, you know, maybe we have started making a little bit of progress, wink, wink, and I'll get to that in a second, but... that's fine, but you always, I mean, when you delve into history in it, and especially the social part, get away from the dates and the battles and everything you read in dusty textbooks. It's muddy. It always is. It always has been, and always will be.
Well, yeah.
I mean, people weren't perfect back there. They were far from perfect. I mean, if you look at Lincoln's old speeches, you know, when he tells blatantly, I would keep slavery if I could preserve the Union. If I could undo this all, I would do it. I mean, today people are like, oh my God, you know, how can you say that? And rightly so from a 21st century perspective. But then on the other hand, folks, take a look at your news when you find out that Latino children are being separated from their adults in tents and camps in America. And then ask yourself, geez, would that be the same if we had an influx of our Canadian brethren and sisters flying over the border? Would they be put in tents?
Maybe now.
Well, Trudeau maybe.
Yeah.
But, you know.
That's exactly a good point. And that was my thinking when I was looking at this. It's like, okay, we're going to debate Albert Einstein and his feelings in 1920 on a trip to China, which are not in line with anything modern. Yeah. But we got stuff going down in 2018 that we way should get on top of.
Right.
I mean, context the hell out of the history. Yeah. It happened. Yeah. You know? Yeah. And I don't think Einstein is looked I mean, I'm sorry, I don't put Einstein as one of those nefarious people of history. A product of his time. Yeah. Even with his philandering. Yeah. You know? But I just don't get. Well, I think there's this whole everything's like now, like everyone wants to take history and put it in recontext, and you know, and it kind of there's these people. It's you can do that, but let's not go overboard, folks. No. I mean, the further back you go in history, the worse it gets. Okay? Yeah. It gets worse, to the point where average everyday civilization goes, wow, see those people over there? Let's go invade them. We'll enslave them. We'll do just really awful things. Or something. And this was everyday Rome, everyday Persia, everyday Genghis Khan. You know, I mean, it was like, hey, this is what we do. This is wake up, have some coffee. Right. Hey. Pillage. Right. Destroy. I was saying you should do that in 2018. Yeah. But that's what happened then. Sure. You know? Yeah. You wouldn't last 5 minutes in Rome, in modern Rome. You just wouldn't. If we were on a road trip, I would tell the person, hey, you know, we can talk about Albert and his peccadillos, but can we do that as we're traveling down to Texas to look at migrants who are now being separated from it's like children? You know, right. It's like get all the outrage for what's happening today and what's wrong with today. Do that, you know. Yeah. Don't worry about, you know, oh, well, yeah, he was a little, oh, well, that's probably kind of a product of his time. Einstein generally seemed like a pretty well-actualized sort of a person, like, again, in his speeches and stuff, and when he was a professor and what he taught, and the stuff he did, like helping other physicists from other cultures get published and do that stuff. So obviously, I don't think this was like this wasn't like an inherent big problem. I wouldn't consider him a candidate for a Ku Klux Klan rally. I would hardly. I mean, hardly. Human beings, and I don't know why people are so shocked by this when they see stuff like this. People are complex, and there's inconsistencies. People are weird that way. Well, I don't know about. So I always kind of come back to this thing like. I don't want to go into too much detail, but old people you grew up with in your family. Yeah. Who you actually, you admired, and they were salt of the earth, and they really had value.
Yeah.
But there would be bigotry or whatever that as you got older, you realize it was just a product of their times.
Right.
I mean, I don't know if that...
No, it's...
You know, and it wasn't like terrible, like awful stuff. It was completely out of context. It would be like this thought and then this action, and the action never like made sense with the thought.
No, of course not.
It's like I'm gonna, you know, make a mildly bigoted comment about someone, and then a black lady's gonna pick me up and take me to church, and we're friends.
Right. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Because that's totally out of context. Because your action is what I see here in that word is, and it was like it was from upbringing. It was like
it's totally messy.
I'm not trying to make an excuse for this, but we're talking. This is not an excuse for someone like me living in 2018. Is what I'm saying.
Right.
Someone who was born in 1918.
Yeah. That
I grew up with was maybe a grandparent or something like that. Maybe more of a leeway there. And I used to call my grandparents out on that stuff all the time. Yeah. Because I was a pretty feisty kid. So if something like that was like, it's like, oh, what do you mean? Because it was like, you know, after the 60s, it was like, that's not true. No.
Yeah.
And they'd be like, oh, you know.
Right.
It wasn't bad. You know, it wasn't, you know, it wasn't like, you know, the stuff we imagine, like, you know, with hoods and bro. It wasn't anything like that.
Right.
It was like little micro. It was kind of like micro, like a microaggression, a micro. But
you wouldn't call them outward macro. It's like idiosyncrasies. That you're like, what?
But then again,
that's humans for you. Though.
But then again, always the actions that I saw them take were completely anti-bigoted, to the point even supportive of civil rights and all that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. So in other words, in the context of someone's speech, there might be a mildly bigoted thing, but then you'd go, oh, I'm voting for the Democrat who wants the civil rights and is like marching with Martin Luther King. And you'd be like, okay, so there's the actions.
How do you juggle that?
Yeah, well, to me, the actions speak louder than the words, and the words may just be something from upbringing.
Humans?
I'm really like wincing, and I know people would disagree with me, and I'd be happy. I'd be happy to debate that, because I think I really think, again, in the context of 2018, people who are alive today, there's no excuse.
No,
there's no excuse.
Totally agree.
But if you go dig down in the past,
you're gonna find a lot of things that just don't make sense by today's standards. I mean, I think it goes down to
it was in the culture, Jason. It was in, you know, there were still restaurants that you go to, and I'm not gonna say what, because you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
There were restaurants that had very racist names, even still when I was like a little tiny tyke.
Yeah,
and it was like, you know, that institutionalized advertising. Yeah. Go back to the advertising in the 20s and the 30s. It will blow your mind. Again, this is not, you know, an excuse for today.
No.
And it went away. This kind of goes along with the Jack Benny Rochester thing, where you're kind of like, ugh, you know, like when you see that, it's like, oh, I don't know how I feel about that. I'm kind of like...
Oh, the most overt thing I ever heard Jack Benny say, literally on it.
Please don't repeat it.
No? Okay.
Yeah, no.
But it was pretty overt.
We don't need to. I mean, see, that's the thing. We don't need to go there.
But it's really weird, and I think it's a deeper fundamental
digging
level.
A hole.
Yeah, I know. I think it's a deeper fundamental level. I think it's human nature.
Why did I bring up the Jason? Einstein diaries?
Yeah, right? Yeah.
Well, it's just because I felt that, you know, it was a little bit splitting historic hairs. You know?
It is, man.
It's like, oh, gosh, look at that. How do we feel about this?
It is.
And who knows? I mean, I don't know if these things were ever going to see the light of day or not. Yeah. And I'm fine. It's like, we published them. Yeah, we published them. So what? All right, fine. You published them. Now let's get smart people around to figure out what this means.
Yeah. I mean, to me, when I see stuff like that...
Does it totally change who Einstein is? Or is it just like, well, there's a footnote of some stuff, might be upbringing, might be...
Yeah.
I honestly, I have to say that people in the old days of European descent did not view the Chinese and Asians cultures as, I think, on the same level.
No,
I have to say, I mean by institutionally.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, keep the other thing is keep in mind at that point in time they were colonized like everywhere else, like Africa and everywhere else. I mean, Europe pretty much colonized the world at one point.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, started by the Spanish and the Portuguese and the Dutch. And well, anyway, but no, if you want to get it closer to home, you know,
well, let's get it closer to home. All men are created equal.
Except
that's in that document, right? That founded the nation, right? All men are created pursuit happiness, except that's not in the document, but you know,
no. Well,
and it took us like a few hundred years to sort that all out.
Right. There is a great couple of articles, and I ran across these when I was doing research for a project that I am working on now.
Yes.
And I never really
called the Einstein Travel Diaries. No.
Right. No, I never truly really knew how inherent systemic racism was in Portland, Oregon.
Oh gosh. Oh my gosh.
Did you know this little fact?
Massively.
Your Friday factoid, folks. Did you know that when Oregon entered the Union in 1859, right, it was illegal for anyone of color to move into the state?
Yeah. Yeah. It was that was the compromise in 1859, right? Lead up to the Civil War.
Yeah.
And so the North basically, you know, it was like, hey, let's add some more northern states. Let's add more states. And Texas was around the same time as well.
Yeah.
And
Missouri.
is it the Mason-Dixon line? No. Was that it? Whatever.
The Mason-Dixon line? That's
no, that's I'm thinking of something else.
That's a little earlier, but
yeah. But that was a whole debate in Congress because the southern states were like, oh, you're going to add, you know, this and that.
Kansas, Missouri, and you know, states like Oregon, territories that were coming into the Union,
and that was actually support. So it was basically, you know, the United States didn't want to add any more slave states, right? It was like, let's not do that.
Northern half wanted to eventually.
These are free states, no slavery.
And
here.
The Southern Bloc, they wanted to keep numbers up in the House and
they were
Senate.
the South, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And so of course Oregon came on, not a slave state, right? But it turned out it was like the paradise. I mean, it just was really. I mean, it was sold as that. And see, but that's the whole point, right?
Yeah.
Is it's like you didn't have to be in the South to be a complete racist.
No.
I mean, the Northerners were as racist as it was just more on the, well, do we have slavery? Don't we have slavery?
In fact,
it wasn't, do we have racism? Don't we have racism? Oh, no. It was, do we have slavery? In fact, the only I think the anti-racists at those times were a few of the really outlier Christians.
Yeah, the abolitionist movement, the real hardcore.
The hardcore abolitionists who were, and I'm trying to think what religions, was it Methodist? It was something, was it Methodists?
Methodists and
Quakers?
And
was it Quaker? There's like real outlier Christian religions, Protestant religions that absolutely did believe all men were created equal, like the Bible, and they were the ones who ran the trains and helped slaves escape and all that. These are the white people who you would say, well, they seem anti-racist, I guess, for their time. In the context of history, who knows? They might be like writing in their diaries too. But it's like, but the Bible says I got to do this, so I'm going to do this. Who knows? Right. I don't know.
Yeah.
But those were like the real like people who were doing the God's work, as it was. But the Northerners were pragmatic. I don't know. Yeah, it's just digging the hole. But this is like what happens when you actually study history.
Yeah.
Like this is what I don't know, you know, and why I always dislike when. Yeah, first of all, you come with 2018 eyes and you lay out the facts.
Yeah.
But then you have to still wrap the context of the times around it.
You do.
I mean, and universally, we come away with these great truths,
Right.
like the Civil War and slavery and abolition and and Lincoln and all that.
And then you travel back in beyond that to Reconstruction, the Jim Crow South, and the birth of the Civil Rights
But
movement.
then it takes until 100 years later.
Yeah,
100 years later, in the 60s, where it like really becomes like, well, actually, that didn't quite work out. We didn't quite get the message.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, take a look at today's voter suppression and other stuff.
It's weird because I'm realizing here that what you have is when you do history, you have to take context and put it all around context of the times, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And then you go, well, it's context, and then well, yes, of course, this and that, and then there was right, and you do that context thing, but then you do have to pull back and say, but this was really evil and bad, right?
Yeah.
And I think what happens is the context helps you understand the talking heads question.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how did we get here?
Right.
I mean, it's pretty much that question, because to this day, people who don't do a lot of history still are like, oh, those Nazi Germans were evil. Like magic, they went, poof, we are evil now. Hello. And it was that's not how history works, you guys.
Someone spiked the strudel and they woke up.
Yeah, and they woke up and it's like, ein, zwei.
Right.
We're going to rule the world now. Yeah, this isn't like spiked strudel. It was like, ooh, I want to rule the world.
That's right. And everyone knows
and
there's
kill
nothing
everyone,
worse than spiked strudel.
This was like 100 years in the making almost.
Yeah.
I mean, if you leading up to the First World War.
Oh, yeah.
Which this actually, this does kind of tie into some recent events. There was a really I want to say the Atlantic or the New York, or one of those like hoity-toity East Coast hoity-toity.
Mm-hmm.
We can get back to the Oregon thing, but we don't have to. There was an article about a leader. Gosh darn it! I think I saved it.
Okay.
It was very, very good.
Mm-hmm.
It was about an egotistical leader. I sent this to you. I sent it to you.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
An egotistical leader.
Mm-hmm.
Always flip-flopping on his decisions.
Mm-hmm.
One advisor would come in and say one thing and he'd go, okay. Then the next one would come in and say, okay.
Right.
Sound familiar?
Sounds somewhat familiar.
Somewhat familiar?
Somewhat familiar.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, this was King or the Kaiser.
Kaiser Wilhelm, yeah.
Kaiser Wilhelm.
Mm-hmm.
The guy who led us up into World War One.
Yep.
He was a real piece of work.
He was. He was
a boy king, if I remember. He kind of it was his 20s, right?
When he ascended
became
to
Kaiser.
Kaiser Wilhelm.
Wilhelm.
II. Yes.
And he was a piece of work.
Yes.
He was Queen Victoria's grandson.
Yep. As was Tsar Nicholas, as was King Edward.
They were cousins.
Yep. Everyone was a It was a family fight.
I have it on my phone.
Yeah.
And the historian, I just about made yet another football here. Let me just bring it. See, because I'm not sharing the dang phone. But this is a good one. This is okay. Where I'm being cranky about history, and so I want to point out something good about history. Miranda Carter.
Yes.
Is a historian, journalist.
Mm-hmm.
Historian Miranda Carter. She's a British. She wrote this book, and she wrote this just recent article. She wrote this article about Kaiser Wilhelm, but she takes the facts from her book, The Three Emperors, and these like you said, it was Kaiser Wilhelm,
Tsar
Nicholas,
mm-hmm.
and
King Edward.
King Edward.
Yeah.
Of Britain.
And
of course, all these dudes, I mean, if you think of the early 20th century, this is like the world smashes apart in Europe.
Yeah.
Well, of course, you have what happens in Russia.
Yeah.
With Nicholas. You have Kaiser Wilhelm, which, pretty much drives well, through a lot of his early actions, drives Germany into war.
It was. It was also
she is fair and says, well, there's other things that were happening as well, but boy, this guy didn't help one bit. He was a horrible ruler, and I've read a bunch of stuff. Just read his Wikipedia, and you're like, oh my god.
Yeah.
And this was World War I. This was Germany, like way before. I mean, way before World War II and the Nazis and Hitler. So, I mean, it's like...
The wrong rulers at the wrong time.
Yeah,
you know?
It's not magic.
In a regional conflict, when the Balkans blow up, right, after Archduke Ferdinand gets assassinated, today, of course, you know, it would get kind of... it would be a flashpoint, but it would be kind of held in the region and not let it spill over to the world. And so when Kaiser Wilhelm II responded to this, he totally just blew it. They could have literally, it could have been tamped down. I'm not saying people...
He's the dude with the weird mustache.
He's the dude with the upturned mustache.
That upturned mustache that you're like, what?
In fact, if you take a look at his picture side by side with King Edward of England, they're pretty close. You can definitely tell the family resemblance, even with Nicholas too. Holy cow!
I want to pull this up because I want to find it.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Thanks, Google.
Wow, this is History Friday we're doing here.
I know. Maybe it's on Twitter
Friday.
here. Oh, here we go. It's in her Twitter feed. She's on Twitter.
Oh,
MJ Carter 10.
Excellent.
She's on Twitter. Thank you. She put it in her Twitter feed. I just saw it in the search. Oh, for Pete's sakes. That's another thing. Here it is. The Kaiser asserted, well, you know what? Someone needs to be a production person here. Anyway, check her out.
Right.
The Three Emperors, which actually, after reading this article where she talks about Kaiser and what a dotard type of a leader he was. She just like lays it out. I mean, it's not like she doesn't like get all too political or whatever.
No.
She just says, you know, this was a leader in history.
Just facts, ma'am.
And here's what... Oh, he had his own facts.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
The Kaiser.
Yep.
But anyway, The Three Emperors. I actually want to read that or get the audiobook or whatever. And there's some good... there was some interviews. She actually has a... I've never seen this. There's a YouTube video of her talking about her book, like 4 minutes. Just like...
Yeah.
She's like, here's this book and stuff. And I'm like, man, every book should have that.
Yeah.
With the author talking about, here's 3 or 4 minutes, here's a pitch for my book. Read my book. I was like, that's brilliant.
That's why I love watching book TV on C-SPAN.
Oh, C-SPAN,
too.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, because you can, I mean, they get in there and for an hour, they really delve into it, and it makes you want to go read the book. Like, wow, that's really cool. I want to go out and read the book.
We're going to do book TV here.
We should.
Yeah, we're going to do the, what are those, the Pelican romance novels?
Harlequin?
Yeah, Harlequin.
Yeah.
So, Jason,
yes,
when you wrote the character of Rick Rock,
yes,
you mentioned that he's got not a 6-pack, not a 12-pack, but an 18-pack.
You know, women loved him economy size. And so he did all he could to...
I don't...
Like a Snickers bar, he's satisfied.
Yes. And there should be book TV for Harlequin novels, you know?
Yeah.
I'm going to read a passage now. As he embraced her long, dark hair...
Right.
And it had been glistening from the previous rain in the... I don't know.
And in
See,
the corner,
I hate Roman. I don't know.
No, you can have fun with it, though.
Know.
In the corner of the
to
screen, right? In the corner of the screen, we have a little clock or a little counter, digital counter, and it's going to go up every time someone says the word heaving.
I don't know.
He rose from the bed, his chest glistening and heaving. Bing! One.
I've never read that stuff.
Me either.
It's just... I
don't know.
I don't know. I wouldn't even know how to write it. Like, have you ever tried to, like, you're in school and it's like, all right, write this thing, and it's like, he embraced her and then kissed her passionately. I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like manners.
It takes people with far more talent than I.
Crap! The game's on.
Right, because my romance novel would be exactly 2 pages long, and it would end with, and he was tired and rolled over and went to sleep. The end.
Yeah, I actually sent you a thing, and I'm not going to read it here, but it was men. Authors writing women characters, and it was hilarious.
Oh, the wife loved it.
Oh, did you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was funny.
I won't repeat the words, but she liked those 2 like little quotes that were there, and she kept saying it over and over last night. You know?
Yeah. It was funny. It was.
I would go downstairs, but if I did that,
yeah.
Yeah,
they kind of took it overboard. It was.
Maybe we can put it up on the Facebook page. The little. And you can read it. I
don't know. It was funny, though.
It was funny.
It was basically, men writing women from the men's perspective.
Right, the horn dog
Which
male
usually,
point of view.
Usually involves, and it usually involves men being fascinated by
certain attributes of the female form.
Do women do the same thing? I mean, I don't know. It's like, he woke up. Like if a woman author is right, I don't know. I mean, J.K. Rowling, people like that are very successful authors. Mm-hmm. But I mean, if it's like he woke up, he felt a passion in his Johnson. You know, I mean, it's like
stirring deep within his loins.
I know. Which pretty much would be accurate, actually. Right, so it's pretty easy to write for...
And you go to your agent, and the agent says, how come every book that you turn in, every manuscript has the title of Morning Wood? I don't understand it. What are you trying to do?
There was a forest below his waist. A passionate forest of... It felt like a forest of 100-year-old oak.
Quickly, it turned into a rainforest.
Oh, no! God, no!
What? The hot patch and, that sort of...
And then he woke up.
Right.
Oops.
Right.
No, I mean, actually, it would be... I believe this. It would be easier. I think it would be easier for a woman to write for a man... the opposite.
They are much more...
Because guys...
Yeah, they're much more evolved than guys are.
I mean, you could just say, he woke up and he had a forest below his waist and it felt like a woodsman or something. And he would be like, that's pretty much how we feel. And then you
guys would
look at your day and you go, oh. And then you're like a wilting fern in the...
Wilting fern in the garden of love. But if guys wrote books like that, it would just and Roger woke up with a deep yearning for a chicken pot pie. It's like, what? What does that have to do with nothing? Or and then he sat down to the chagrin of his wife as he watched SportsCenter.
I'd have to say probably the best writing in this area. And a shout out, and the people, my friends on there, on the Facebook and everything, they know I'm talking about. Probably the best writing in this area, if you really want to look at some really good writing in this area. Like this would be the conversation, and just go out and check out Chuck Tingle, the homoerotic dinosaur writer.
I've never heard this. Is new ground for me.
An internet sensation. Writes they write again. Kind of like Chuck Tingle's kind of like the Banksy of writing.
Okay.
It's
very eclectic, very...
it's so bad, it's good. Again, think homoerotic and dinosaurs.
That's a winner.
Yeah. So that's probably about the best writing out there. It's just...
Yeah.
Every once in a while when someone... And...
He had me
the ladies like it. It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Curmudgeon books of the week.
Yeah,
recommendations.
Yeah, no, it would be. They're on. You can actually download them on for a few pence on Amazon or something. Yeah. But I mean, there's like a Twitter and there's always like a Facebook and there's always like words of wisdom.
Excellent.
And it always ends up with something about the butt. So
yeah, it focuses on certain areas. And...
Yeah. But anyway, the Chuck Tingle. That I think that's all the romance you ever need in life in 2018 to read about is the Chuck Tingle. I think pretty much there it is. Now, if you were Jeff Sessions, I think if you read the Chuck Tingle, you'd want to put someone in jail for some, you know, probably some crimes against nature or whatever.
Right, yeah.
Even though you yourself are a crime against nature, Mr. Attorney General. But I didn't say that.
You, sir, are a crime against... Anyway. Do you mean you're talking about Jefferson Beauregard?
No. Anyway. I don't get into
Beauregard. Happy Friday, everybody. Yeah.
The Nuremberg trials. Just saying. The Nuremberg trials.
Coming up next on the Curmudgeons. The Nuremberg trials. It's like, oh, wow.
I don't... That's not... See, me making a case for history and then I say something like that. It was clearly sarcasm and joking.
That's right.
I'm not making that...
We should have like a little thing on the lower third at the bottom that flashes.
It is. It is.
Sarcasm.
It actually is in the disclaimer. Last year, I had to put it because I was like, oops.
Yeah.
There's a very big disclaimer.
Disclaimer. It's like on a rolling, you know.
Anyway. So that was the news.
And that was the news.
Well, I don't know. I mean, the news has been... Well, I mean, you know... well, the big news, the breaking news as you were coming in here, which is worth mentioning.
Sure.
I don't see it, though. Of course I don't see it. Man, I'm telling you, the Google, all the sites...
You still have it on Chuck Tingle, don't you?
Have got, they've got so bad, so terrible now. Like to this day, Google, even if you don't log in and have the whole thing, right? And then it's like, no, log in so we can personalize it for you. Well, how about no? How about just give me, you know, to this day, you're still giving me Kim Kardashian stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, do not need, do not want, don't need, don't care.
Right.
And take Kanye with you.
Right.
So like I pulled up this thing that I don't see it. I just see the stuff about the reporter that yelled at her. Sarah Sanders. I don't see the... So I don't know. See, I don't see the breaking news. What's going on?
Okay, let's
even Twitter and Facebook. Like now they're so worried about the... like the social sites have gotten really... Okay, one of the things that Twitter, early on, Facebook maybe so much too, was these were good news sites. And Google, right? That would give you immediate news stream news. Twitter especially, where breaking news, something happening, right? Without context. Now with all this freak out about Facebook and the election, like Facebook has a news stream that wasn't too bad. Now they're going to take it away. Now it's like, oh, we just want you and Jason to be friends and be idiots and not read anything about the news. Right. What is that? It makes no sense to me. It's like people need news, need context, need history. Right. They don't need friends. You don't need friends. You don't need friends. You need news. There you go. Look at me.
News is your friends.
Yeah, exactly. News is your friends.
That's right.
That's right. News is your friends.
News
friends?
Is your friends. That sounded very...
They're going to scatter when you got a problem. Trust me. The news will always be there.
That's so Orwellian. News is your friends.
I know, right?
Like, oh.
Ooh. 1984 with Coffee with Curmudgeons.
Right, very Ingsoc of you.
News is your friends.
News is your friends.
News is watching you. But, you know.
Yeah.
Your friends.
Yeah.
As soon as you have a problem, they'll scatter like rats.
Yeah.
Light. They'll come and eat your cheese. Their friends will be like, oh, yeah. Get a little wine with this. Hey, I got a problem. Oops, see it. Gotta go. That's your friends.
Yep. Turn on light and they scatter.
We'll be there.
That's right. News never abandons you.
It's okay.
Yes. Let's
I'm
see.
okay. I'm okay. I'm
What do we
really
got
just
going
an
on?
awful human being.
We got
but
border
it's
stuff going on because of the separation.
That's all the news. Is all the terrible.
We get all the Trump stuff.
Yeah.
You know.
But I thought
Let's leave that.
So I thought there was a rumor about
Yes.
the press secretary. Well, who's reporting it? Because it's sure not in my Google front page.
Let me check.
And when I type Sarah Huckabee Sanders, so the rumor was when Jason came in here is that she's on her way out and she's going to resign.
Yes.
Which, to me, I was like, well, that makes sense. Because was it yesterday? This reporter, dressed her down.
Yeah.
And this was about it basically said you're a parent and,
how can you
do this? And then she just shut him up. And it's like, one person, I did see this. One person said, that was unfair to her, which I don't know if it was unfair to her. But she's a public figure doing public work.
Yeah.
But they said it was unfair to her, and the question really should have been to the president dressing him down. He's a parent. But I don't know. I think it's all bad.
Yeah.
There's a lot of tariffs going on, and then there's just, I don't know. It's like, yeah, I don't know. Where is it? I saw it pop up too, and then it was gone. See? It's just a rumor. It was fake news. Let's filter out the fake news. Yeah, there's just, I don't know. So the big news this week, and I watched it. I was working.
Reports.
CBS.
Sarah Sanders and Raj Shah are planning to step down per CBS report.
Now, who's Raj Shah?
Let's check him out. He's in the White House too. Works for the White House.
It's not here. It's not here on the front page of Google News. Why not?
I don't know.
If they're reporting, if it's breaking news.
Yeah, it came up on my smart news earlier.
Well, your news is smarter than Google. Look at this.
Yeah, planning to step down.
No, I know. It's right there. See, but it's not on mine.
Right.
This is the problem I'm having. Now we're manipulating the news feed so much that we're so worried.
Raj is the deputy press secretary.
Oh, okay.
But on Salon.com, they have a rebuttal saying that she has said that she's not stepping down. But, of course, they all say that until they actually step down. So, who knows?
But it's CBS.
Yeah.
Is CBS fake news? I'm sure they're biased. They are biased, actually. But still, I don't see it. See, I don't see it on the front page. Are you sure? Are you getting fake news, Jason?
I hope not.
I don't see it.
This is first reported in the Tampa Bay Tribune.
I don't know, man.
Winner of 12 Pulitzer Prizes.
Well, so was the New York Times.
Right.
And they had to give a few back. Right?
Yeah,
isn't that right?
A few back.
Yeah. Oh, can we have that back, please?
Anyway, that's where it.
Yeah, I don't see it here on their front page.
Yeah.
So you check their Twitter. See, I don't know, man.
I know, it's crazy. Yeah, see, it seems like it's coming out of this...
By the way, CBS News, your front page? No. CBS News, your front page?
Yep, here's the CBS story. If you go to the CBS
No, it's not
site.
on their front page, not on mine. Oh, maybe they're manipulating my news feed.
Could be.
Anyway, well, so whatever.
Yeah.
What a day. So it's just been I've been way too busy. I was doing a thing. It's not here, dude.
Gigs, man. You had gigs.
And I even pulled up the CBS thing. Isn't that crazy? Like you're seeing it there when I'm not seeing it there. Oh yeah, because the internet. This is a problem, folks. We need to keep our eyes on this. I'm actually about ready to change my whole news feed, news sources, just because. I mean, here's the thing. Facebook is like they announced it. They said they're pulling their news feed. I'm like, why? Why pull something that's valuable? Oh, well, because it's manipulated by the Russians. No, whatever. If you really think everyone's manipulated everything, well, you're just wrong. First of all, you should be able to go out and find... Yeah. Exactly.
You know?
The news programs.
Yeah, yep. You got Madison Avenue trying to sell you diapers. You got Wall Street trying to get you to make investments.
What Wall Street companies own the media companies? Yeah, I mean, there's that. Remember that graphic that has all the news things and where they are, kind of on the spectrum,
the arc,
and who is manipulated by what. You know, like the neocons are over here because these companies own that. And,
right. Yeah.
Anyway,
folks, it's enough to depress you.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like my newsfeed, and my newsfeed has gone downhill.
Mine
I've
has
noticed,
too.
Right?
Yeah, I double now. I'm so paranoid by news. I double and triple check to make.
Yesterday it happened on Facebook.
Yeah.
I saw this on Facebook, on Twitter, mainly Facebook. A couple of people were posting R.I.P. Malcolm Young.
What?
Yeah, and I was like,
"That's crazy."
Yeah, rest in peace, Malcolm Young of AC/DC. And then I did a quick search because I was curious, and sure enough, on social media sites, some social media sites were posting to Twitter and Facebook that day about the death of Malcolm Young.
Yeah.
Who had died in November of 2017.
It was a while ago, yeah.
And so people see that and they don't remember or whatever, and they start posting it.
Yeah.
Right. And I even commented. I was like, died November 2017. I remember when I RP'd this back in November.
Yeah.
You know,
we talked about it on the show when he passed away.
We did.
He first passed away.
And that's why I was like, all of a sudden you see, and I think that's a weird, like, there's a manipulation and a weird experiment.
Yeah.
And it usually happens with people who die.
Yes.
And I've seen this.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Like you and I could start going out, and like if you get a trend going and retweets and I saw this on sites and I thought, what is this? So this is something, I think that's a little, there's something manipulative about that. Right? And then you see a couple people in your feed who get on that and go, oh, yeah, boom.
And it just catches fire.
And it's like, well, maybe they missed it or they don't remember or whatever.
People in your feed
and
who get on that and go, oh, yeah.
Thanks, Jason.
Sorry. I was just having some fun.
Yeah.
If I can get it to... If I can get it to be quiet.
Now Jason's watching our show.
I am. I'm double and triple checking us.
Weird one. So the big news is like Trump did the North Korea thing in Singapore. I watched it live because I was actually working and doing stuff. So I was literally working and I was like, oh, I can have this live feed going.
Yeah.
And I watched a couple of the U.S. feeds, but I actually watched the Singapore
the
feed
summit, yeah.
From Singapore, this Singapore news agency.
Oh, wow.
Which was pretty good.
Yeah.
And underneath, right on their YouTube channel, it says whatever their news agency is. It's like Singapore News Agency.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And they had like commentators, they had like 4 some odd people around the round table.
Yeah.
And they had the live feed right there in Singapore. And then they'd have the commentary in between the feed. Nothing's going on. We're looking at a car. Okay, let's talk about stuff. They had the news analyst that was the U.S. expert.
Interesting.
And then they had the Korean lady who was the Korean expert.
Yeah.
And they just talk about it. It was very good.
Yeah.
And then right underneath of this Singapore news agency, it says, Singapore News Agency is funded by the Singapore government.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there was. The bias was right there.
Right. Yeah.
But it wasn't biased. It was very... Because they weren't really talking about Singapore other than, hey, we're looking pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, Singapore probably doesn't have really much of a dog in this fight, so they probably just...
They were just the host.
This is just,
Now, if you were getting information about Singapore, I would think there would be issues there with that news agency.
That's why all their breaks were nothing but tourism.
Like kind of a dictatorship. Kind of.
Maybe.
The government of Singapore. Well, somebody said, oh, Singapore, that's a...
It's a military coup, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I'm like, have you ever read the history of Singapore, actually? Yeah. It's Republic of Singapore. Very clean. Mm-hmm. Very regimented. Mm-hmm. But I don't think they have a lot of... I don't think there's free speech stuff going on there if you were, like, talking about Singapore.
Yeah, not a lot of dissent that is... tolerated.
Unitary Dominant Party Parliamentary Republic. That is literally what it's called. A Unitary Dominant Party Parliamentary Republic.
One, one party rule. Yeah.
Yeah. A unicameral parliamentary government representing constituencies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I mean, remember, these are the people who like cane kids for putting gum under the.
That's right, under the desks.
That's nothing to say anything about, very clean. The military.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did not watch the summit. I read some stuff as it was going on, but I was hip deep in other matters.
I mean, Singapore has a huge. I mean, it's like a banking haven, and
yeah,
highly developed market economy based historically on extended entrepot. I don't know what that is. Trade, along with Hong Kong and South Korea, Taiwan. I mean, they're on that island, and they have all those skyscrapers with all the bank stuff, and then they have that one weird skyscraper, which was in the thing that has, and Kim went there to see it. So they got these 3 skyscrapers, and then up on top they built a garden platform. There's a picture of it here. It's famous.
Yeah,
there it is, right there. Here, it's this thing right here. I can show you. I'll show you right now. Look, that thing I'm talking about. That's a building, and up on top there, that structure on top of those 3 skyscrapers is like a whole. It's like Central Park up there in the sky. I know, straight out of Star Wars, dude.
Right.
I mean, it's like the Star Wars prequels, right
Lando
there.
Calrissian in his Cloud City.
Yeah, it's Singapore. It's just Singapore, really. You think that they'd go film there?
Yeah.
That's I don't know what the hell that's called. What's it called? It's called the Marina Bay Sands, Singapore, which I think Kim actually went up there and they toured it because it's a I mean, if you're gonna go to Singapore, Jason, you want to go check that thing out. Right. It's like you go up to the top of a big building, you come out, you're in Central Park, but you're in Cloud City, Central Park.
Right.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
But they're a successful market economy. But again, I don't think there's a lot of dissent.
No. And
that sort of thing there.
I wouldn't think that there's a lot of the word toleration
for dissent.
Yes.
Yeah. Remember that kid got caned.
The kid got caned. I know that numerous speaking of news, numerous reporters have gotten lengthy prison sentences for writing.
I'm trying to. Yeah, I mean, companies linked to the government control much of the domestic media in Singapore. So again, probably not a lot of investigative reporters in Singapore.
No, there's not a lot of introspection that is going on over there.
Yeah. Anyway. But Singapore's media industry has sometimes been criticized for being overly regulated and lacking in freedom of human rights groups such as Freedom House. Self-censorship among journalists is said to be common. That's the part there that we have the problem with.
That's what they've been whipped into whipped into conformity.
Well, I don't want to talk specifically Singapore, but it was interesting that YouTube had that there to just say, hey, keep in mind, this is the Singapore government funds this channel. And again, with the summit, there was nothing just about, hey, look at Singapore, isn't this pretty? There was nothing about Singapore. It was about North Korea and the United States.
It just happened to be.
And so it was all right. So in context, they had a pretty good channel, even as compared to NBC or CBS or the other ones, which were a little more
depending on your political
opinionated.
Belief,
But it not to call out Singapore as much, but the self-censorship among journalists, which is something I worry about in the United States every single day.
Yeah.
Because when you work for these big companies that are owned by big Wall Street media
media conglomerates,
engineering conglomerates that do a lot of Defense Department work.
Right.
And own channels and media.
Right.
Self-censorship.
Yeah.
And bias.
Yeah.
That's what you got to worry about. I think you have to worry. There's like the whole 1984 censorship stuff, communists, all that stuff. Ooh, get a knock on your door. I think in the market controlled, in the kind of controlled economy with the powers that be, it's about the self-censorship.
It is. It is, I guess, what you would call a soft tyranny.
I like that, soft tyranny.
Soft tyranny. Well, yeah, because,
that's going to be the name of our country.
Soft tyranny.
Welcome to the island of soft tyranny. We're the Curmudgeon Island.
Right.
Like when you look up the Wikipedia for Curmudgeon Island, it'll be political system, soft tyranny.
Soft tyranny. Hey, that is also the state-run fabric softener, too.
Yes.
Soft tyranny.
I love it.
We get the little bear,
Oh, my God, Curmudgeon Island. That will be our island.
Soft tyranny.
We got to make it a banking haven, though. That's if you're gonna run an island, always make it a banking haven.
Yeah, Cayman Schmaymans. We're gonna bring in our own offshore accounts going on.
Yeah, we're a soft tyranny.
Soft tyranny, by the Curmudgeons Board of Tourism. Yeah,
we have to go censor people, Jason. We have to go come down like 1984, you and I, and instead we'll be in a bar drinking tequila, going, can I do it later?
Yeah, are we
just drinking this tequila here?
Or it's just someone running into the room yelling, "You're censored," and then running back out. You'd be like, what? Okay.
A soft tone, a velvet. We could be like a velvet tyranny.
I love it. Yeah, that's right, with the velvet glove.
Velvet. Yeah, if you do something wrong that we don't like, we lock you up and we have to read like 2 hours of Vaclav Havel poems.
It would turn into that Monty Python
velvet tyranny.
Beat him with the fluffy pillows.
Oh,
and it turns out
we just invented our own political system here. What is it that we don't do?
Not a whole lot. We are all about solutions.
We come up with. Screenplays, TV shows, songs. What else?
Broadway plays,
scientific ideas.
Yeah,
we're still working on the scientific ideas.
Yeah,
we just came up with a political system.
You're welcome.
The soft tyranny.
Yeah, soft tyranny.
Velvet. I think we need to write this. You need to go back. Like you're writing. You need to work this into your writing.
That's right. He reached into his pocket and extracted a pair of velvet brass knuckles.
I love that. Yeah, the velvet. Well, the Velvet Revolution, right?
Yeah,
that came up somewhere in my feed. That was a Czech Republic.
Yes.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
and then they made a statue to Frank Zappa.
And they did.
That's not all that bad.
And it always leads to soft tyranny.
Yeah.
And we're there.
For the...
Frank Zappa will be our national anthem. One of his songs.
See, we'd have to fight the Czech Republic for it.
Well, who else could we get then? Warren Zevon, maybe?
I don't know. Maybe John Bon Jovi is...
John Jovi. Oh,
he'll just sing Runaway or whatever. Velvet Revolution.
Runaway.
Just for the folks who don't... the date, 17th November 1989 to 29th December 1989. And coincides with the fall of the Soviet Union.
That's great.
In Czechoslovakia. Velvet Revolution. I just wanted to bring this out because, you people don't know. It was like, what are they talking about? Velvet Revolution, or Gentle Revolution, was a non-violent, we like that, non-violent transfer of power in what was then Czechoslovakia, occurring, as I gave you the dates, popular demonstrations against the one-party government of the Communist Party of Czechoslovakia, combined students and older dissidents. The result was the end of 41 years of one-party rule in Czechoslovakia and the subsequent dismantling of the planned economy and conversion to parliamentary republic.
Right.
That was
yeah. Well, we're gonna go our own way a little bit, though. I think that I am now warming to the idea of John Bon Jovi doing the the national anthem. I'm getting in my head right now that, oh my gosh, the World Cup from
That's
from Curmudgeonia or wherever we are. And they're all standing there, please rise for the Curmudgeon national anthem. Everyone's up there. I want to see 60,000 people with their hands over their hearts.
Velvet.
Yes, their hands over their hearts, singing, Tommy used to work on the dock.
I know,
Union's been on strike. He's down on his luck. It's tough. So tough. Gina works... Anyway. But that's soft
I like
tyranny
going
for
to
you,
the
folks.
Curmudgeon Island.
Yeah.
They're a little weird. They have a weird political system. Boy, their national anthem sucks, though.
Right. They got to work on that.
Yeah.
What if we came out with like a weekly national anthem? We just change it?
I like
Casey
that
Kasem,
idea.
we just show up and we change it?
And people would get chastised for playing the wrong anthem.
Right.
Dun, 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 dun. You're playing the wrong anthem.
We're
this
up in our
week.
presidential box yelling down, that was last week.
Exactly.
Oh.
Exactly.
I'm in the mood for some Al Jarreau. How about you?
Al Jarreau, yes.
And they just throw up, we're in this love together.
Dude, how could you not have the national anthem of Curmudgeon Island not be Al Jarreau?
Right.
Come on. Everyone's sort of like,
That's great. Yeah, everyone's moving and
now
driving.
I want a margarita. I'm good.
Right. And when we feel feisty, maybe we break out an old Pat Benatar, hit me with your best shot. You're a real tough cookie.
That's
with
our
a
go to
long
war
history.
anthem.
Right, yeah.
Hit me with your best shot.
Right,
That's a go to war. That's like when we're going to war.
right.
We change the flag from
From blue to red.
blue to red velvet.
Red velvet, right. But then we confuse them all with like Blue Oyster Cult Godzilla. They were like, what?
Yeah.
What's that about? Maybe
Well,
some
wait till the national anthem is In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida.
Iron
It's like
Butterfly.
you're gonna have to wait for the drum solo, you guys.
Right.
Frankenstein.
Yeah, we wanted to do
That would
this.
be the good one. It would be like,
Ooh.
here comes some dignitaries from Singapore or wherever.
Yeah.
It's like we're welcoming them to Curmudgeon Island. All of a sudden, it's like, what are we thinking?
Mm-hmm.
We have to have Fly Like an Eagle.
Oh, Steve Miller, of course.
Steve Miller.
And can we get Pat Boone to sing them all? Smoke on the water, fire in the sky.
I almost put in World Velvet.
World Velvet.
Yeah, I don't know what that would come up with.
One world, one velvet. I love it.
Oh, one world, one. Look, we just totally invented our own country. This is beautiful.
This is utopia.
I know.
People say, man, when I grow up, I'm going to buy me a hut on the beaches of what are we going to name our country, though?
What would you describe would be the Curmudgeon way of life? General jackassery.
That's right, tomfoolery. And
Tom Jones. It's not unusual to be. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Tom Jones. He's
What's new, pussycat? Whoa,
whoa, whoa. I like that. And maybe
Engelbert Humperdinck.
Oh, after the loving. And they shoot up.
That would be great. I could just see that as a national anthem. Yeah. It's like.
Yeah.
After the love, sitting in the box, because you have to have those presidential boxes.
And Engelbert, they pan up to us, and we just got tear. I love it. I think that's just fantastic.
I sing you to sleep after the loving.
That's right. Maybe a little Robert Goulet.
Oh my gosh.
Throw in some. I don't
Velvet.
know.
What did we call this? What is our system of government again?
Oh, well, we're soft tyranny.
Soft tyranny.
Yeah, but we're
soft crushed velvet tyranny.
That's right, soft crushed velvet tyranny. Wall to wall, soft crushed.
Tonight we announce on Curmudgeon. Oh, wait a minute. I got to do the thing, right?
Yeah. I'll do the crowd noise for that.
On Curmudgeon Island today, we have announced a change in the political structure of the island. We have gone from soft tyranny to soft, crushed, velvet tyranny. And now, Mr. Engelbert Humperdinck will sing the national anthem of Curmudgeon Island
After the Lovin'.
After the lovin'.
I think it's I Sing You
Tomorrow?
to Sleep.
That's right. We'll break in. We'll just news breaks. We'll just break in on state-run TV. Tomorrow will be Corinthian leather tyranny. We'll just, rich, deep Corinthian leather. And then maybe a Ricardo Montalban lookalike comes on and does it. That's what we need. That's what I'm thinking.
Please sing. Please stand. Oh, no, I should do it.
Please stand.
Stand for your national anthem. So I sing you to sleep after the lovin'. I brush back the hair from your eyes.
Yes.
Dude, it has to be after the lovin'.
It has to be after
At least the
lovin'.
first initial anthem.
Yeah.
Once we get the copyright claims
Yeah.
from where did the copyright claims come from now?
Oh,
You should know this.
let's see. We'd have to pay for
Sound exchange.
Sound exchange.
Yeah, once
There's like 5
the
of them.
Curmudgeon Islands gets hit with the sound exchange fee for the oops, we better change that now.
Change that name.
Dang, we're paying $5,000 a month for After the Lovin' because we're using that as the national anthem, dude. This sucks. That's half our economy, dude.
Right.
Like, we're now announcing an austerity. See, we'd have to announce an austerity package because we have to pay the sound exchange because we illegally used Engelbert Humperdinck's After the Lovin' as the national anthem.
Yeah.
See, folks, it does, after the next hour, it does kick on up here.
But if Engelbert still owns the rights to that, we could make our side deal with Engelbert.
I don't know. I don't know what Engelbert's up to.
Intern, get in touch with Mr. Humperdinck. Let's make this happen.
Oh, this is my favorite part.
Yes.
So I sing you to After the Lovin' with the song I just wrote yesterday. And then, where's the brush back your hair part? So I sing you to sleep after. Oh, that's in the third or fourth verse. We got to wait for that. I think we put that. We have to have brush back your hair in the first verse for the national anthem.
We do. Maybe we need old Captain and
brush back. Oh, muskrat love.
Yeah. And
he later brushes back the hair from her eyes, or someone's eyes. Songwriters Alan Bernstein and Richard Ziegler.
The duo of Bernstein and Ziegler.
I think when we have the falling out or the sound exchange, then we'll have to go to some Paul Williams.
Paul Williams.
Yeah.
Sure.
And then we can invite Paul Williams down to sing the national anthem in his Planet of the Apes suit in the original.
Cornelius?
Yeah, it wasn't Cornelius. No. It was. You know what? We got this message a while back. It was Osho. I don't know. It was no. It wasn't. We got the message.
Yes.
Of the role he played in Planet of the Apes 6.
Yes. We will have him do the. See, that would be just brilliant. But we need to save that for really special occasions. Like if we hosted the World Cup or something, everyone shows up and here comes out Paul Williams. People are like, wow, these guys are first world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to.
I'm also in favor of maybe a little bit of Carole King.
Virgil. He played Virgil.
That's very good. Carole King. Maybe some James Taylor.
Still liking After the Lovin' though.
Oh, me too. Engelbert, he's our man.
That is an anthem. That is definitely our anthem. After the Lovin'.
Right.
We just feel like they're with the traditional margaritas.
Right.
In the box. It's just
and everyone's got little umbrellas in their drinks. Everyone put your hands over your hearts and rise for the nation.
No, and you have to lift your margarita.
Salute. I love it.
I sing it asleep after. What a happy place. What a happy place Curmudgeon Island would be.
It would be a magical place.
Soft tyranny.
Unicorns roam freely.
We'd punish people. But we'd either be so high or drunk that it'd be like, we'll get to the punishment later.
Right.
Just don't do it again.
Right. Yeah, we just commute the
or we'll send you to Singapore.
Right. See? Exile to Singapore. Go!
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but soft tyranny. Everything's crushed red velvet, and it's good.
Dude.
People love it. It's Engelbert.
Yeah. I would say we'd have to have Prince, but that's not going to work out so much.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind a little Purple Rain every now and again just to throw in a little mix. But what
Liberace?
if we got Liberace? Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah,
we could do that.
I'm down with this Engelbert Humperdinck thing.
I am too.
After the Lovin', I'm declaring it.
Yes,
I'm declaring it. The initial articles of incorporation of the soft tyranny, the soft velvet tyranny of the Curmudgeon Island.
Where do
the
we
national
call
anthem will be. I think so. Don't you?
Or the People's Republic?
Because then the sequel would be Back to Curmudgeon Island.
Oh,
Monsters of Curmudgeon Island.
I like it.
You know.
Yeah, Curmudgeon Island.
Beyond Curmudgeon Island.
Beyond Curmudgeon
right?
Island.
You know, I mean, it has to sound good.
Yeah.
Curmudgeon Island sounds good, by the way. You're going to write that down for your stories.
It's there.
And it would you know, one of the features in the back would be a fake volcano.
Yes. A fake volcano, palm trees swaying, you know. Yeah. Maybe, look, there's a nice...
Maybe a giant gorilla.
A gorilla. You gotta have gorilla.
A giant gorilla.
But I want something more...
We'll call him Bobby. Bobby the giant gorilla.
Yeah, and his pal is a koala bear.
And he'd come down, yes, with the koala bear. Yeah. He's like a 18-foot-high gorilla.
Yes.
And Bobby. He would come down, and everyone would freak out. I was like, what? All of a sudden, I sing it play the national anthem.
Right.
I sing it asleep after the love it. And Bobby would be like,
and he just lays down and goes to sleep.
Kind of, See, that's why we would have After the Lovin' as the national anthem, because it would put Bobby, the giant monster gorilla who lives on Curmudgeon Island, on the other side of the volcano.
Yeah.
And wants to come down and terrorize us.
He wants to, but...
But he doesn't, because we put him to sleep with the national anthem, Engelbert Humperdinck's After the Lovin'.
Yeah, that is literally the power
we are on
of
Engelbert
Humperdinck. The funny thing is, the tourists are like, oh my gosh, he looks so scary, until they noticed Bobby was carrying a Mai Tai. And the soft dulcet tones of After the Lovin' calmed everyone down. I mean, today is Bobby, tomorrow the world.
Beyond Curmudgeon Island.
Beyond Curmudgeon Island.
Bobby goes and fights giant lizards.
He has to.
And...
Because the lizard man has shown up.
Space robot alien, I think.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Can we do like a mirror version of Santa Claus?
I'm already visualizing the show graphic for the show now.
Yeah. Conquest of Curmudgeon Island.
Conquest of Curmudgeon Island.
Lizard men show up and Bobby leads the revolt.
Yes.
And he saves it.
Yeah. Well, of course. Bobby is like, you know, Bobby the giant gorilla is he's monster.
He's a monster.
It's an untamed monster.
He is.
But when it comes down,
he's a patriotic monster.
When the money's down on the table, when it comes down to saving Curmudgeon Island, what does Bobby do? Saves us all.
He saves us all.
Right.
And he saves us with style because of Engelbert Humperdinck.
That's right.
And I like the fact that at the final climactic scene, Bobby, it looks like all the day is lost. It's going to be a dark ending. But here comes Engelbert with a cordless microphone.
Yeah.
And the whole battlefield just lays down. They turn their swords into plowshares right there.
Giant Gila lizard.
Gilas.
That big old tail whipping around. Taking out the huts. Yes. Took out our favorite bar.
Yes.
Bobby.
Save us, Bobby. And next thing you know, here comes Engelbert.
Lots of stop motion.
And then because...
Lots of, Harryhausen stop motion with the fur weirdly...
Borderline claymation.
Yeah, no, and the fur just oddly changes on the model. You ever notice that? Like the thumbprint of the artist that's moving the thing. It's like all of a sudden the hairstyle is like...
Right. And because it is Curmudgeon Island and magic things happen on Curmudgeon Island.
Magic happens.
Magic happens on Curmudgeon Island.
Look, dude, it's not even Fantasy Island. It's Curmudgeon Island. Magic happens. That's what the tourists come for.
Right.
They come off the Love Boat.
They come off
to Curmudgeon Island.
To Curmudgeon Island.
For magic to happen.
Yes. They if you are a tired and burned out banker, your marriage is on the rocks.
So Jamie Farr and Adrienne Barbeau come as a couple.
They would show up
to reinvigorate their marriage.
Yes. Bobby, puts lays around their head, gives them a Mai Tai. Oh wow, that's great. And then that night at
and as they're stepping off of the Love Boat, because the Love Boat takes you to Curmudgeon Island.
Sure.
For your weekend.
Yeah.
Of self-discovery, or repairing your marriage, or becoming a man, or whatever sort of issue you have to.
You've lost your soul and you need to regain it back. You go to and you find your humanity at Curmudgeon Island. I like that. Yeah.
Exactly. My mind wandered into a very weird place about losing your soul, and it's like, I know for Germany, we have lost our soul. We want to find it again.
Where do we go?
You want us to take off our uniforms? Okay.
Where is this Curmudgeon Island?
Clink. If we could just, dude,
30 days in Curmudgeon Island.
You know that our dream of a pile of cash to make a movie would take probably every sitcom TV show that you and I ever watched as a kid, and somehow put all the characters at some point, like your Curmudgeon Island, and here's Clink and the boys from Hogan's Heroes, and you're just like, what, I really, really would strive to take a lot of money to make the worst film ever made.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Proudly.
Yeah.
Proudly. It's so bad it's good.
People
are like, wow.
Well, if it works for the South Park guys.
It sucks. But it sucks in a good way.
Anyway. But, so you come off, you come off the boat.
Okay.
Because tourism would have to. I mean, we'd have to make some money, right?
We got to stay afloat.
In theory, that would be like week. 12 of our new government. We'd be sitting there drinking margaritas. It's like the bottle would be out, and it's like, now what? It's like, well, the treasury is now empty. It's like, what treasury? What's a treasury? It's like, well, you have to make money. It's like, we have to make money. And by the way, we got this big sound exchange bill. It just says sound exchange. Has a picture of Engelbert Humperdinck after the loving.
Right.
$50,000.
Got to pay it. Of course, one would argue.
And then we'd be like, what could we do? Tourism? Sell condos.
Excellent.
Sell timeshares. And then each week, a cast from a classic sitcom, follow me on this, would rent a timeshare on Curmudgeon Island.
Oh, that would be great. Family Ties one week. Mm-hmm. Then maybe the
Hogan's Heroes.
Yes. Silver Spoon shows up. You never know. Cheers.
Yeah.
Would come because, Sam has gotten out of the bar business and he needs to do something.
They'd rent a condo.
Maybe, or maybe.
A vacation.
He opens up his own little bungalow bar down there. Sam, Mayday Malone.
Cast of MASH.
Cast of MASH shows up. There's Alan Alda. He's got a Mai Tai. He's looking good.
Yeah. They just walk in.
Yes.
Like through the door.
Yes.
Figure out where to bunk each one of them.
Good Lord. Do I see Soleil Moon Frye over there? Punky Brewster in the flesh? Yeah. That would be great. I would love that. It'd never stop too. There's, is anyone from Petticoat Junction still around? I don't know.
Green Acres? Doesn't matter. There's CG, dude. We can CG it.
Curmudgeon Island really does welcome that Cotter.
Exactly.
Gabe Kaplan. There's
Do you imagine the episode where the cast from Happy Days comes in? Fonz would jump a shark again.
He would jump a shark out in the lagoon.
Yeah.
Right? Because and Joni will love Chachi again. She will. She'll do that. And then, Mr. and Mrs. C are out there. They're wearing their, whatever they're wearing. They got metal detectors on the beach. And they find, look at that. It's an old unicorn artifact. It's worth millions.
I heard a recent episode with Mrs. C.
Excellent.
Do you know
Marion Ross?
Marion Ross.
Mm-hmm.
I think she's rather, she's not 29.
No, she's...
Actually,
She's got to be up into her 70s and 80s by now.
I want to pull this up because I was actually surprised. No, dude. Mm-hmm. No. Marion Ross is 89 years old.
Oh, God bless her.
Mrs. C. And she's sharp. I heard her on a radio show.
Yeah.
An interview. Oh. Like recent interview on a radio show.
We need to get
Marion Ross, 89 years old. Sharp,
sharp as a tack.
Yeah. You know what she said? She and Mr. C did not get along.
Bosley?
She and Tom Bosley? Yeah. It was like, oh, yeah, he was kind of a jerk to me.
They were America's couple.
I know, right?
How can...
It was funny. I was listening to this radio show. I was like, ooh, dirt on an old sitcom that nobody remembers anymore.
The next thing you're going to tell me is Henry Winkler is an Italian.
No, she had very nice things to say about Ron Howard, Henry Winkler, but she did not have the nicest things to say about Tom Bosley.
Wow.
I know. I was like, this is so good. Oh, please give me the dirt.
Were things really stressful down at his hardware store there in Milwaukee, Wisconsin?
Yeah.
Man.
But they did say she was like, oh, Henry, he's such a wonderful guy. You know, that's actually everyone has always said that about Henry Winkler.
Yes.
Well, you were there.
Yeah.
I wasn't. You were there. I remember because I posted your video.
Yeah, Henry, how you doing?
Yeah, he was selling a book or something.
He was. He was very gracious.
You talked to him, right?
Yeah, very nice guy.
It's all I've ever heard is that Henry's a...
Yeah, him and Ron Howard both. I've heard that they are extremely kind,
totally cool
people.
Yeah, who don't need to be.
They
it's
don't.
like, I mean, if I were Henry Winkler,
Yeah,
I mean, how old is Henry Winkler? I mean, let's be
70s?
honest. Yeah, but Marion Ross is 89 years old.
She is,
and she was calling into a radio program, giving an interview.
We got to go get her.
I was just like, yep. That's
yeah,
he's 70. Good job. Henry Winkler is 72.
Excellent.
72 years old.
Yeah.
Born in Manhattan, New York. Go figure.
Go figure. Yeah.
72 years old. But yeah, I mean, he doesn't, like, if I were Henry Winkler,
he looks good for 72.
people would come up to me. Here's like, people still know who the Fonz is.
Yeah.
I mean, Nick at Night, all that stuff.
Yeah.
I just like in their face. I'm the Fonz. Get out of my face. You know, I just
right.
The Fonz doesn't need to talk to anybody.
If I was Henry Winkler, I would never take off the brown leather jacket.
No.
I would be pounding on the side of jukeboxes. My office would be the local bathroom wherever it's at.
I know, right?
You know, that's what I would do.
On Curmudgeon Island.
On Curmudgeon Island.
The Brady's would have to go to, because it would be like the Hawaii special.
Bobby's got the tiki doll. He's got to head back to...
Big giant tarantula.
Bad things are happening to him. He's got to go back to Curmudgeon Island to make it right.
Voodoo.
Yeah, voodoo's going on. Brady voodoo is going on.
My own personal favorite.
Yeah.
Oh, this will be one, Jason, I'll be hands-on on Curmudgeon Island.
Excellent.
Come on. Because it mixes sitcom with music.
Oh.
The Partridge Family.
Sha-la-la-la. Oh.
No, the Partridge Family. Come on.
Everyone get happy.
Everyone get happy. Because I can't wait. I'll be, you know what?
Shirley Jones?
I'll ask. Yes. Yeah. I'll ask. Danny Bonaducci. I'll ask if I could play tambourine and sing backup when we do the song. Because there will be a song.
There's got to be a song. There's a medley.
We're here on Curmudgeon Island. Come on, get happy.
Yes.
You know, and I'll play the tambourine in the background.
I want to be the guy that's like the fourth guy from the left out in the like the little where they're giving their on the beach where they're doing their concert.
Mr. Kincaid will check in the
as
he always does.
They pull up on the bus. The bus has like it's a water version bus, you know.
Yeah.
It comes up there and they get off. It's like almost like an amphibious assault by the Partridge Family. They show up, they start singing. We're having a good time. Danny Bonaducci, he's still rocking his red hair. Life is good on Curmudgeon Island.
You know that whole Malcolm Young thing where people were like just yesterday were like R.I.P. Malcolm Young, who died in November of last year.
Yes.
3 people died in that like week, and one of them was David Cassidy, if you remember.
Yes. Yeah.
So David Cassidy actually died on the 21st. Malcolm died like a few days around that.
Right.
So like it was one of those end of year people, celebrities,
but because of
dying.
Because of the well-known magical properties of Curmudgeon Island, David Cassidy will live on.
Well, no. We have CGI. Like CGI.
We just can't clone him, like Dr. Moreau. Working a little sci-fi angle.
Oh, you're after my heart, Jason, when you're talking about cloning. Clone Army. Oh, Clone Army.
We have our clone defense.
That would be it. See, we would get invaded in Beyond the Battle of Curmudgeon Island.
We got a clone.
Or would it just be Battle of Curmudgeon Island?
Conquest
of
Curmudgeon Island.
Curmudgeon Island?
Yeah.
That's like what? Episode 4?
4.
or
4 or 5.
4 or 5 in the series.
Let's make it 5.
In the yeah, no, I say 5.
5.
In the battle. So battle for Curmudgeon Island.
Ooh, that sounds pretty good too.
Battle for Curmudgeon Island. I think battle for, and so I don't know.
I like that.
Is it space aliens or who would invade?
I kind of want it to be
Russians. Russians.
What about Russians and lizard men?
Yes.
It's like a team up.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, Russians are the boogeymen, so why not?
Yeah, they're the lizard men are the shock troops, but they're led by Russians.
Yeah.
Because hey, that's like every Golden Globus movie ever made.
Exactly.
Lizard men led by Russians. Invasion USA.
So they invade.
Nothing but
we're soft. Like
we're soft here.
I mean, it's looking bad for Curmudgeon Island. They've taken everything over.
On the surface,
it's like I know, and then it's going to be like, you know, what are we doing? We're in the last bar. We're huddled together with the cast of MASH, Hawkeye and stuff, drinking the last of the martini. Tequila's out. And we're like, oh my god. Which, by the way, it's Friday, man. I'm ready for a cocktail.
Yeah, we're trying to drink.
But anyway,
the real crisis though is when the ice machine goes on the fritz.
Oh like, hell yeah!
General, ice machine is down.
Holy crap!
The whole tavern goes silent.
Well, Curmudgeon Island is taken. I mean, we're.
Are we underground at that time?
Things are bad.
We've gone underground in the volcano?
No, that comes in the weird episode 6.
Oh, okay.
That is Battle for the Curmudgeon Island or something.
Right, that's where
the nuclear mutants or whatever.
Right, that's where we just
that's where the Paul Williams comes in. Just as Virgil. But anyway, and we get a bus.
Yeah, of course, maybe
but we're like fighting, right?
Yes.
But not really. The island's taken over.
Yeah.
Everyone's worried. We're out of tequila.
Yeah, ice machine. Yeah. We've run out of umbrellas.
Engelbert Humperdinck has fled the country.
He has.
Fled the island, so no anthem, right?
And I don't like the way he left either. He just said he had a sudden gig in Paraguay and took off.
Well, he's Welsh, isn't he?
Well, I don't know. He's with the name like Humperdinck. He's he could claim anywhere as home.
I think it's made up, but anyway.
Yeah.
But anyway, so then what happens is last hour, like there's the invading forces. What do we do? Is it a button? Do we make a call? What do we do? Something. There's some action. We do something.
Yeah, we fled to the panic room because things are
right.
Yeah.
But it's like our last shift where we do something.
Yes.
And then on the beach, doors open on the beach.
It's got to be a button then.
It's like the Thunderbirds.
It's a plastic covered button.
Yeah.
And you lift it up and your hand hovers over it because you know there's
it's a red button that says push this.
Yes.
It says push. No, it says push.
And your hand hovers and it starts shaking because you know that there's no going back from this. And
right. And then all of a sudden the beach turn into doors like
raises.
And then in the hotel pool, the big giant Olympic sized hotel pool separates, opens up, right?
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And you're thinking like rockets and stuff. No. Giant platform comes up. It's a clone army of sitcom characters.
Yes.
Outfitted. It's like it's Mrs. Cunningham in a commando outfit. Come on, boys, let's go. She's like decked out. She's got rocket launchers. She's got the thing.
Yes, Fonzie comes up through. Henry Winkler.
Fonzie comes up in a tank. Hey. There's only one way you would ever see Fonzie: tank commander.
Right.
In that leather jacket, kind of tank commander. Like you would see the tank, and the Fonz would be there. Hey, you know,
and he's not wearing the tank helmet because it's going to mess up his hair.
No.
So he raises up, and then and then Richie yells, "Sit on it," and then stuff like Laverne and Shirley show up because that's what they do. The big ragu.
They'd all be in commando. I mean, they're like highly trained because they're a clone army.
They're a clone army,
much like. And George Lucas is the general. He's like in the back going, "See, I told you this is going to work. You guys didn't believe me that the clone army would work, but." This is a clone army. Good thing we called up Geonosis. Or not Geonosis. I can't remember. Whatever. Star Wars nerds. Listen. No, that was where they built the Death Star.
Right. Right.
What was the clone part?
I don't know.
Camino. It was on Camino. See, I'm trying to remember all this. Why? It was Camino.
I thought it was
the cloners on Camino.
I thought it was out of an abandoned General Motors.
I don't know.
But yes, they show up. Rising in there. There's Fonz. There's Mrs. C. You got the people from Michael J. Fox.
And you know what?
Family
no
Ties.
matter what, Klinger would still be trying to get out of the unit.
He is.
Even as a clone, he's wearing a dress. He's like, I shouldn't be. I'm trying to get the 4F or whatever he's trying to do.
Yeah, Radar already knows how the battle's gone because he's got that 6
Engelbert Humperdinck is 82 years old.
And he's still feisty as heck.
He was born in Madras, British India.
Wow.
I did not know that.
Wow.
I think Tom Jones is Welsh. Somebody's Welsh. Yeah, he was born in Madras, British India.
Let's see.
Oh, I know what our battle, because we're into this.
We're into this,
right?
Yes.
I know what our battle music will be.
Dun, dun, dun,
Clone
dun.
Dio. Could be like Last in Line. Could be
Holy Diver.
But not. Oh no, there's
Rainbow in the Dark.
Rainbow in the Dark. There you go.
Because we are.
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! Could you imagine going into a battle with a clone characters from Sitcom Army as commandos, with Dio singing "Rainbow in the Dark"?
Can I add one movie guy though? Just.
Oh yeah! No, dude, we're cool. We're cloning. We'd be like, I don't know. And Abraham Lincoln. Why not Abraham Lincoln?
Yeah, I want Donald Sutherland as Oddball from Kelly's Heroes.
Oh,
he's sitting
how about just all of Kelly's Heroes, dude?
They're on the tanks next to the fire.
Telly Savalas.
Right.
Don Rickles.
Yeah.
That's all Kelly's Heroes, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And the Klinger's trying to get it. I can't be here. I've got to go somewhere else, And
even the German guy with the scar?
Yes. And Donald Sutherland looks down the Klinger and says, hey, stop with those negative waves, Moriarty.
Yes.
And it's just, it's a beautiful moment.
I know.
It's a beautiful moment.
No, it's a clone army, dude.
It's a clone army.
You can clone anybody. Anybody you want.
Ooh.
I mean, it's like Westworld, right? With the and the stuff.
Yeah.
It'd be like really cool. They wouldn't know what hit them.
They wouldn't know.
And here's the thing: even if they're not good fighters,
no,
we're talking sitcom characters. So there's some sort of thing. Like, could you imagine? Could you imagine a hero like Gilligan?
Yes.
I mean, he would be a hero of the battle with him and the skipper. So many things would go awry.
You'd fling out a sailor cap and have like
he'd be the Jar Jar Binks. He'd be the Jar Jar Binks of this battle.
Playing Jar Jar Binks, Bob Denver. No, I'd love that. Yeah, and then but I want popular culture things too, like Little Debbie from Little Debbie Snack Cakes. She jumps up there,
Well, would she? Oh yeah. I was just gonna say she could have the commissary, but no. I kind of if you had Little Debbie with one of those how many millimeter machine guns?
She's got the 50 caliber going, dude. She's like Arnold Schwarzenegger in that in a Commando. Little Debbie.
We are Lord and Miller, aren't we? It's just like. But see, we'd get fired off a Star Wars movie too.
But not off Curmudgeon Island.
See, that would be it. We did it with that, and then all of a sudden there'd be Lego Batman. It would be like, oh dear Lord, Jason, you've gone a little overboard on the cloning here. I couldn't stop, right? You'd be like, because you'd be the head of the cloning. I'd end up, and you'd be, and it would just be like. The Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, it'd be like, dude, what pop culture reference did you?
Yes, I would do all of that,
and it would be just like
I would have the Green Giant come out, ho ho ho, Green Giant.
Like Fury Road. Did you see Fury Road with the guitar player guy? Except it would be Hendrix and the Experience. It'd be like, Purple Haze. Oh man,
yes,
it would just be.
The Rat Pack would come alive again. Here they come, right out of the sands.
They'd be like colonels and stuff. Oh, yeah. I know Sinatra was like he did the war movies and stuff, but
From Here to Eternity.
Yeah, but it's more like the '60s kind of Rat Pack, the Vegas, so they're older, so they're like kind of in their like lieutenant and colonel. Yeah, because I mean Dean Martin, it'd be like
and Dean's half crocked. He's got a martini.
Oh, he'd be on the horn.
Right.
Dean would be on the horn.
Right.
Dino, get on the horn. Call up the infantry over on that beach. There.
Right. But then
what do we call that? The left beach? No, but if you're coming in from here, it's the right beach. No, but it's the left beach from our. Wait a minute, is it stage left or audience left?
But Dean, he's above this, all right? He's like, just pick a beach. And
Yeah.
then, okay, sure, Dean, we're going to go do it.
Oh, I like that. Just pick a beach.
Just pick a kid, pick a beach. And then here comes, Jerry Lewis, because, it's Martin and Lewis comes around. Hey, ladies! And it's great. People are like, wow. You got Minnie Pearl from Hee Haw. You got the Hee
They
Haw.
would be, no. Our, whatever, Russians.
Yes.
No offense, Russians. I love them.
But.
Best people I've ever, the Russians.
Salt of the
But the
earth.
Russians
Yes.
who are battling us with the
Yes.
lizard.
Soviet-era Russians.
Maybe they're Soviet lizard Russians.
Of course.
There was a movie like that once.
Yeah. We're cloning them too.
Anyway, they're in battle, right?
Yeah.
And they're up in the sticks, right? Here's the thing with
Yes.
all, and all of a sudden it's the Hee Haw cast coming up,
Yeah, there's Buck Owens and Roy.
But you know how they're always in the woods there and they tell jokes. It's like, now where are you all going? It'd be like them in the Green Acres cast with shotguns. Where do you think you're going? Hey, I heard a good one, by the way. You lizard people might like this.
Right. Population of the Hee Haw Army, 25,000. Salute.
Oh, man, this would be so good. I mean, it would be, we're talking
Minnie
CGI.
Pearl, man. Minnie Pearl.
Yeah.
She's rolling out there.
Right out of the, how they would come out of the cornfield?
Grandpa Jones
Grandpa Jones
shows
telling
up.
jokes?
Yes.
It would be perfect. And then you'd have oh man. Then you'd end up with because now we're in full Saving Private Ryan Star. I mean, there's like Apocalypse Now. I mean, you got to have like the helicopters.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah.
And all of that stuff. It's mass chaos with
a
all
bit
your
of,
favorite movie and sitcom characters fighting this battle. And you're just like these explosions and stuff.
With a little Tor thrown in for good measure with Kelly's Heroes for a little slapdash comedy.
And just off to the right as it pans out, there's a platform and Lawrence Welk. Dun dun.
Bubbles are rising.
Dun, 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 right?
Yeah.
Oh man. It would be so good.
It would be great. It would be a huge epic fight.
I guess we'd lose some people. We'd be sad about it, but we can clone them back.
But they're clone.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a clone army.
They're a clone
of
army.
Sitcom characters.
Yeah, don't weep for Buck Owens. He's coming out in Act 3. He's back. I like it.
We'd have to have Inspector Clouseau.
Oh, Peter Sellers. How can you not have Peter? Him and Kato, man.
Yeah.
They get out there. He was Kato, right?
Yes. Kato, not now.
Right.
Fighting the battle.
Right.
And then they'd run into the Green Hornet and Kato, and he'd be like, I am so confused now.
Oh, yeah. There's momentary
Who are you?
confusion, but they band together. That's what they do. So
James Bond.
Like James Bond. You got all of them. You got Sean Connery. You even got George Lazenby.
Oh my word! That would be our commando team. All right, commandos. All of a sudden, here's all the like 7, I don't know, say or however many James Bonds.
Yeah.
All dressed as commando Bonds. It's like all right.
And they've got
except
camouflage tuxedos.
Yeah.
Because they still got to go in style.
I was just going to say, they'd all be commando Bonds, except Roger Moore would still be wearing the white dinner jacket. He was like, I'm sorry, I've got to do this in style.
Right.
You always were the stylish one, Roger.
Right. Yeah. Got to do that. All of them, they're just 00 whatever.
The 00 team.
Yeah.
00 team.
Just 00 commandos.
Yeah, 00 commandos.
Yeah, I like that. I like it.
Episode 5, Battle for Curmudgeon Island.
Battle for Curmudgeon Island. You got all the Star Treks there. Kirk.
Oh,
and Picard side by side.
How did I miss this? See, this is why you're in charge of the clone army. Because I wouldn't even think of half this stuff.
Right.
And you'd be like, it would be like, oh well, we've got the Trek battalion now. It's like Kirk and oh my God, you got like. You've got like 1,000 red shirts. Well, this is great.
Yeah, and the cool thing about it, we already know
Kirk phasers with the
right. But the cool thing about it is
destroying that Soviet lizard army.
And who knows how to fight lizards? Kirk.
Oh,
he's already taken on the Gorn. He knows. Double karate chop.
That would be the final battle.
That would be the final
because after we've kicked all our TV show clone army characters have kicked the butts of the Soviet lizard invasion army of Curmudgeon Island. You'd have the final general. I am General Boris Lizard. Who is the man? Hand to hand, and it would be Kirk with the ripped shirt.
Right.
Oh, someone would walk in, makeup.
Here's how it happens.
Blood on the thing.
Here's how it happens.
It's like Kirk would come out.
Here's how it happens. All right, they're on the beach. They've cornered the last lizard man, the king of lizard men, and he's like,
this guy's like about
send
50
out your
foot tall.
best, right? The crowd parts,
right?
And here comes Kirk.
Yeah,
and his
with his torn shirt.
They bam right in his face. And he goes,
torn shirt, dude.
I will handle.
Don't forget
this, boys.
the torn shirt.
Yes, gotta have torn shirt.
Yeah,
I'll handle this, boys.
Right.
And then the trailer when we do the set your phasers to stun, or set your phasers to fun.
Set your phasers.
Set your phasers to fun as you rollick on Curmudgeon Island.
Well, I think at the end there, like if he gets into trouble, if he gets into real trouble, this is the Colonel Boris Lizard. Soviet lizard guy. He's pretty big. Yeah, he's right? Big. I don't know where Bobby is because we need Bobby, the giant volcano gorilla. They might have got him tied down or something.
We see Bobby's gone on a undercover mission. He is out there in the bay in the lagoon, dismantling their weird Russian spacecraft so they can't get home.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, he's out there,
Anyway,
him and Will Smith, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, they've gone in there to dismantle. Of course, yeah.
DJ Jazzy Jeff,
you gotta have it.
Yeah,
you gotta have it.
So what would happen is, as he's like being slung around fighting the bed, he'd do a little handoff.
A handoff.
Two guys.
Okay. Ooh.
Only two other guys could help in this tag team with Kirk.
Yeah.
Shatner Kirk.
Yeah.
And that would be one, Jim West. Jim West.
Okay.
Wild West.
Yeah.
And, same guy, Pappy Boyington.
That
same guy. Just one a little younger, one a little older, right?
Right. One of the corsairs.
What was his name?
What's that?
Pappy Boyington, Jim West.
Who's the actor?
Yeah. Knock the battery off my thing.
Yeah. I can't remember.
It was what's his name?
There was even a young John Larroquette in that series too.
Oh, Baba Black Sheep. It was young John. So which John Larroquette do you get? Wait a minute.
He's got to be nice.
Wait a minute. You'd have 3 clone John Larroquettes because you'd have
white shoes.
You'd have the Baba Black Sheep John Larroquette.
Yep.
You would have the Night Court John Larroquette, and then you'd have the Klingon John Larroquette. Star Trek 3. Was it Star Trek 3? I think it's Star Trek 3.
That's magic.
Star Trek 3.
Yeah. Yeah, we need that. Oh. That would be awesome.
I'm sorry. This Robert Conrad.
Yeah,
you need a little Bob Conrad in our, because if you have clone Bob Conrad,
if we
gotta kick some butt.
Right, but if we got to do him,
not only is he Jim West.
No.
Like remember, I remember this as a kid. Honest to God, we used to have this thing. Mm-hmm. Who'd kick ass? Kirk. Yeah. In a fight.
Yeah.
Cage match. Kirk, Jim West. Ooh. James Kirk. I know, it was like such a matchup. It was like, boy, I'd be like, that sounds like a draw.
You know who else we
Because they're both like, tough
men of
ripping
action.
stuff, blood down the thing.
Yeah.
Fake blood.
Yeah.
And smart.
Right. And smart.
Always smart with the fighting.
Always smart.
And they had the same backflips and stuff, remember?
Yep.
Kind of with the flip and the kind of
similar styles.
Smash, right? That kind of thing.
Yeah. But then we need another combination. We need James Arness from Gunsmoke. He's got to show up. But then working another movie magic, we need Jean-Claude Van Damme from Bloodsport.
Well, sure.
He shows up. He's doing his thing. That's what he does. And
at the very end of it all, Ronaldo
kicks his goal, and he's in. And then what happens? He yes. They turn around, and then him and Pele high five.
That's what it is. In the end, once we've defeated the Soviet lizard guys.
Yeah.
The survivors, the clone survivors. I'm assuming the Soviet lizard army is a bunch of clone lizards too.
Yeah.
Like they're all the same except one guy has a beret. It's like, oh, that's Roy. He's a little different.
Yeah, he's.
We just threw that in there so you could tell the difference. That it was. They all look the same, but we just thought we'd make one an individual.
Oh,
you know,
that's Roy.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Yeah.
He's the one with the beret. He's the lizard with the beret.
Right.
But you know.
Can I make a special request?
What?
Can at the end of the movie, after they high five and the screen slowly goes to black, can we have the end theme be the Footloose? Gotta cut foot. Kick off your Sunday shoes.
You could do it, yeah.
I don't know.
That would be during the friendly soccer game at the end.
Yes. Everyone's happy.
That's where we get Ronaldo and Pele.
Peace breaks out.
Versus the lizard team.
And they're not bad soccer players, but they're trying. Their tail's always getting away.
Yeah.
And then because Kenny Loggins has to, I don't know what song he would do. Maybe Footloose, maybe not.
Well, during the battle,
it has to be.
It has to be Top Gun.
It has. Yeah. Oh, Danger Zone.
Danger Zone.
Yeah, Kenny Loggins.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. Man, this has got so much promise.
You'd suck so bad. You know why? Because as we're sitting in our box seats watching the battle because we'd still be like, is it still empty? Is it still empty? Like licking the seat. I'm getting a little bit left. Right?
Yeah.
Radar, could you get us a little more tequila? We're sitting there watching the battle, right?
Yeah.
For Battle of Curmudgeon Island. You know what the problem would be? I'd be like, I'd look at you and I'd be like, no, you didn't. You'd be like, did what? You didn't. What? You cloned Tom Cruise, Eyes Wide Shut Tom Cruise? Not Maverick Tom Cruise?
All of them.
Not freaking Jason.
All
not
of them.
Mission Impossible Tom Cruise. Not
Risky
action.
Business.
Not action Tom Cruise.
All of them.
You got Eyes Wide Shut Tom Cruise?
I did.
Soft Cruise? We needed hard Cruise. We needed a Maverick Tom Cruise. We needed Mission Impossible Tom Cruise.
But we need a soft Cruise for the soft Tyranny.
No, you ended up the Eyes Wide Shut Tom Cruise. It was how are we going to go into battle with Eyes Wide Shut Tom Cruise?
No, but we'll fit him in somewhere. Maybe he could work for the quartermaster score. I don't know. But we got to have all of them.
Wait, he's talking to one of the lizards. He's asking if he wants to take a personality test.
Right.
Ooh, this might work.
And they beat him with Scientology. I love it, dude. I love it.
Oh, that was send your cards and letters. Russians and Scientologists.
That's right.
Battle for Curmudgeon Island, movie number 6 in the box set. Yep. Look for it at fine video stores
everywhere,
somewhere in the 2050s. Trust me, it'll be a thing.
Yeah, come back to 2050 and go to Target. It'll be there.
Yeah, there's a World Cup going on, and I'm not keeping up with it. All I know is that Ronaldo scored a bunch of goals, and go Ronaldo. So I gotta watch the replay. Otherwise, we gotta go.
Right,
and I'm thirsty.
Right,
I am. For some reason, I'm really thirsty. Like a margarita sounds really good right now.
all of this movie magic sure builds an appetite.
Yes, it does.
Anyway.
Oh my. I like it though. I like Curmudgeon Island. Yeah. The Velvet Revolution.
Soft Tyranny.
And the Battle for Curmudgeon Island. Oh, look what I did. And Bobby the giant gorilla behind the volcano.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping by the time you get the show graphic done on the car on the way home.
Right. Oh, tonight's gonna be the movie poster.
Yeah. All right, so I guess World Cup is this weekend.
Yep.
There's probably other sporting like baseball and stuff. But World Cup is going to be the thing.
Yep.
I'll catch up on it. And in the meantime, wait for a theater coming to you, Curmudgeon Island.